shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. Body walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice watching fire, a mind drawn this dawn. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of coming sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church to bring the fed. No one else, no illusions, no hollow in Japan. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Thinking truth from the wreckage, lazy thought from the dead. Every word is a weapon, sharp and clear. Exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rips through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, trigger keeps the battle is right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm making the chaos of found to pretend.
All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. That is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome back, welcome back. Shout out to Marilyn in the building. Welcome, welcome. We got Lone Wolf and Cub. Very good to see you guys. What is going on? So, as you may know, I took my little holiday break. I had to come back a day early just because I don't know what to do without you guys. But AmFest, TPUSA's AmFest happened over was it the weekend specifically or this past week? I know it just happened, and a lot went down. It was from what I saw, it was very interesting, but I haven't really taken any deep dives. So Jake Rattlesnake did a great job of bringing the story of how Ben Shapiro is over. I figure that is a good place to start. And if you guys have seen any other clips that we got to cover, we can do it. We also got Feline Game in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shouting out Morty. We also got Matt. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Very good to see you. Yep, I look more like it than that picture hanging at your church. Welcome. We also got Craig over on Rumble. When will I be live on TSN? Whenever I get the invite, bro. Whenever I get the invite. All right, so let's dive right in. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
They think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us. And truly, Ben Shapiro, you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
And I said on Twitter earlier tonight, I said, Ben Shapiro's finished.
Dunzo.
You're done, little man.
When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to be going through predominantly Ben Shapiro's recent speech at AmFest and
And again, guys, if there's like, oh, you got to check out what this person said, we can find it. So let me know.
entire right-wing civil war that has been brewing for a while, but has really erupted now. We're going to be going through Ben's speech, as well as Tucker's response, Candace's response, and Steve Bannon's response as well. A lot to get through here. So with that, let's get into it.
But today, I want to talk about something even more important. How to discern those attempting to speak truth from frauds and grifters.
Takes one to know one, I guess, right?
Because something is new. An informational environment rife with both opportunity and chaos. Opportunity because the legacy media gatekeepers are no longer in charge of what we see and what we hear. And chaos because an anarchic informational environment means we actually have to be smart in how we assess the information and arguments that we hear. Why does that matter? Well, because today the conservative movement is in serious danger. It is in danger, not just from a left that all too frequently excuses everything up to and including murder.
True.
The conservative movement is also in danger from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle, but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation.
Oh, we gonna get there. Shout out to Cosmic Blackie. Welcome. So Charlie Kirk was trying to get Erica Kirk to quit putting 22-inch bust-down weaves and go natural. People think these people are really what they claim. American conservatives are hot ghetto trash. All right, fair enough. I'll take it. Shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips in the building. My goodness. Starting us off already. Said Tucker for the win. Hi, Morty. And that's right. Every single donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Of course, that goes into the Morty Memorial Fund. He is still here, as you can see, but he's not going to last forever, and I would be amazingly happy if I was able to memorialize him in a way, so you guys are definitely helping with that. Plus, we've got the stream goal. We can get every dono does come with a treat, but we got a special treat if we hit the goal, and if we hit that goal, every $2, I got to do another push-up. Look how puny. Oh, so puny. I need your help. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And we also got Kitty. Thank you with the gifted membership. Thank you. So, here's my... There we go. Thank you. So very, very much. Welcome. And I believe that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so much, guys. Very glad to see you. Let's dive right back into this.
Speak in the name of principle.
Oh my goodness. Carl said no, I am the sponsor now. Thank you. Said American conservatives are what keep America open. Yeah, there we go. What do you mean by that? That sounds like you're saying it's the conservatives that are the reason that we have like immigration problems or something. Say more on that. But thank you again, guys. Very much appreciated. Let's do it.
But actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance. These people are frauds, they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time. And they are something worse than that. A danger to the only movement capable of stopping the left from wrecking the country wholesale.
So I don't think Ben's totally.
He came off so bitchy. Just like, why are you saying the things that I don't like? Very woke, if I may so say so myself.
Without a point here when he's talking about the anarchic state in which information is disseminated in the social media age. On one hand, it's an extremely positive thing, actually, to decentralize how information and ideas are shared, and we can let the cream rise to the top and let people vote with their eyes and their feet. But on the other hand, it actually does open the door up for charlatans to arise. People who have alternative motives or an alternative agenda can use this and actually mask their agenda. Many have actually accused Ben Shapiro of doing this very thing.
No to bigotry and anti-meritocratic horse shit. No to anti-Americanism. No. This is our country.
Claiming to be America first when it's actually very clear that his number one priority is the state of Israel. But with that intro in mind...
Israel first. Israel first. Oh my goodness! We got a battle going on! We got a battle! Kitty said, no, I am the sponsor now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So very, very much, and Morty is just loving it. Thank you. Oh my goodness. The generosity. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Really, 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 I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Let's do what we came here to do.
Claiming to be America first when it's actually very clear that his number one priority is the state of Israel. But with that intro in mind, let's get on to the part where he calls people out directly.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA, and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
Nah, I ain't buying that. I ain't buying that. Just because I have a microphone, first of all, everybody has a microphone. Everybody has a microphone. So does that mean that because you own a phone or a computer or whatever, that your job, it's your responsibility to say, that person's bad, that person's bad, that person's bad, that person's bad, that person's bad? There's a lot of bad people. There's a lot of bad people out there. Yeah, that's the end of the day. You're not going to have anything else to say.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
So earlier, Carl said American conservatives are what keep America open. And so I didn't know exactly what you meant by open. So he said we push to keep jobs in America. So that's like the opposite of what I thought you were saying. So I'm glad I asked for that clarification. Shout out to Gene. Welcome to the party. And guys, remember, if you did get a gifted membership, I got to drop the link to the Discord server. It is absolutely free to join for everybody. However, there are some members only things like our voice channel after party that will start as soon as this stream is over, and there is a bunch more. So go check it out because you now have full access, and even if you're not a member, it's cool to hang out.
And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
I will give him points for actually calling people out instead of saying, some people here are this, that, and the other. He did actually, naming names, like, fair enough. Say what you best.
The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly. So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
Like, again, maybe Tucker just doesn't completely disagree with everything that you disagree with about Candace, and then is not a relevant thing to talk about. It's not like he is a live streamer where he's just out yapping. He does a show. It's a very specific show with high-profile guests. When exactly would you like him to talk about this? Look at all these dog treat crumbs all over my shirt. This is the new one too. Hey, shout out to Matthew Crazy. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Let's dive right back in.
Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
Crowd pretty split there.
Or
the crowd is pretty split there. And if you are on the landscape stream, we do have a running poll. Pick the better option, Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson. Verdes, just put it in the chat. Who do you prefer, Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson?
her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend,
Megyn Kelly,
characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions.
A yo mother? What?
A person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning.
She is, well, I mean, I guess she's not that young. Hold on, I'm going to fix that banner in 1 second. I just realized I fucked it up. But, yeah, I thought you were saying, yo, like, what is that? What is that? Shout out to Liberty Plus TV in the building. Welcome. Very good to see you. And, oh, my goodness, again, Mr. Carl with another $2 said, make, hold on, let me see where I am. I got that. Oh, a full screen. Boom. Boom. There we go. Take it. There you go. Thank you. So very, very much the battle of the sponsorship. You guys are amazing. Thank you. So very, very much. And indeed, make America Charlie Kirk. Agreed.
A person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter. And when Meghan said this week, quote, my goal and my job here is to try to understand, yes, where Candace is coming from on this, and says she sees no purpose in inserting herself, quote, into this on one side, that is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
Okay, so being as...
But who, like, even in the worst light, like, okay, you could say Candace is not on Erica's side, but at what point has Tucker ever said something that was like, bah with Erica? There's one thing of not denouncing somebody, but like if you're not even talking about it, then what is your complaint? When did they ever say anything against her? Liberty Plus said, guys, my baby boy was born 2 days ago. So if I say something horrible, I'm gonna blame it on the lack of sleep. Well, hey man, dilly. Congratulations, sir. Very, very, very beautiful.
There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
Okay, so being as fair as possible here, I have to give it to him that at least he does actually call people out by name here.
Call that out by name.
He is getting a lot of shit about this from
points where they're due, but
around the internet, but I will say that this is better than being vague and insinuating. And this means that we don't have to speculate about who he's actually talking about. He calls out Candace, Tucker, and Megyn Kelly, and also later Steve Bannon, 3 of which are actually speaking at the conference, and then Candace also has a massive show. And in typical form, Candace does respond on her show. But before we get there, let's listen to the rest of what Ben said about her.
And TPUSA, that crowd is loving it, unsurprisingly. And again, like I said, I haven't seen much of anything. So I haven't seen like the crowd's reaction to what Tucker said, or what Tucker said, what Steve Bannon said. Again, I jumped through this video a little bit, and I was like, Jake, you did a pretty good job with this one. But yeah, we're gonna be paying attention to that.
Fourth, because we have a duty to truth, we also have a duty to provide you with evidence of the claims that we make. Emotive accusations, conspiracy theories, and just guessing questions, that's lazy and stupid and misleading. None of them are a substitute for truth. None of them are a substitute for evidence.
Okay, but hold on, Ben. Hold on just a moment here. Did we not just go through a grand conspiracy of the establishment, the scientific establishment, the FDA, whatever you want to say? We just went through, and it was only for the people that were just asking questions that were lambasted for years. Some people lost their channels. Some people lost their jobs. I agree with you. I'm not really down with what Candace is doing. But how is this just not straight up one for one woke censorship? You could debate her. You could take time. If you think this is so important, then you can take time on the show that you do to cover what she's saying and show why it's bad or stupid. But of course you choose here, where you've got the microphone and nobody can say anything.
So when Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
And I can agree with that. Well, I don't know, but I know. Like, that's a dumb thing to base something, especially this big on. But like, that doesn't mean that I'm saying she is just asking questions. I agree. The point that I'm trying to make is that while I can say that there is a lot of just asking questions that's really making insinuations, the idea of I forget who said this, but they were talking about this speech, and they were saying that Ben what was it? I missed it. I lost it. Wait, let me give him.
No, but I know. That is retarded, and we are all more retarded for having heard it.
So
I was going to say something about the fact that, asking questions is how we found the truth. Just because someone is asking the wrong questions doesn't mean anything. I agree. Well, I'm not as stodgy as you think. Tim Pool has a thing about how it's not really Tim Pool, but this is where I most recently heard it, that we're obviously seeing the split in the right, and it's going to be essentially the Groypers versus the old school neocon rhino Mitt Romney types. And I don't like either of them, but
to an extent, I do agree with him in this particular instant. That is kind of retarded, and it is pretty woman-coded as well. But before we get further into this, let's have a listen to what Candace said in response.
With it, this one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's what. Yeah. He was saying that it's this. Brian Stelter was saying making fun of people for doing their own research. Like, oh, you're doing your own research? And then Jimmy Dore had the thing that was like, now they're making fun of you for reading. There we go. It came back. See, I had a thing. Thank you, Liberty.
Of the mother effing plantation, truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you.
Damn. Again, I don't like what Candace is doing, but you can't tell me that she did not just roast that man alive.
You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white.
She ain't ugly. Not really my type, but definitely wouldn't kick her out of bed. Shout out to King Nirvana. Welcome to the party. It said, as a short dude, I approve of the midget horse. Yeah, it works. It works in this situation, but yeah, no. We also got Slim Fatty in the building. Welcome. And Mad Rush 2.0. Welcome to the party. Now she turned into a jihadi. I know, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's her next arc. Welcome to the party, guys. Let's dive right back in,
people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us.
I'm just going to throw in this little comment about how Christianity used to be, it used to have a lot of stuff like that. Let's just put it there. Leave it there.
That they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye.
Later.
Question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart?
They still
before he turned his
going.
back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
So, to be honest with you guys, there's really not that much that I can sink my teeth into here. Ben says Candace is a retarded liar. Candace says Ben is an irrelevant midget. Neither party actually puts forward the claims made by the other party and refutes.
Fair, but which one of these people is claiming to? Well, I guess they're both claiming. While on the outside, we can see that Candace is just. I don't even know if I want to go as far as say grift, but she's doing what she's doing. We can see that she's doing. But the fact, and again, that's exactly where I was going, is that she is clearly trying to provide entertainment. And Ben is very much like, no, this is what the truth has to be. Shout out to KB. Said, lost a lot of respect for Candace. I did as well. Not as much respect as I lost for Ben Shapiro. But yeah, the right-wing commentary space is not really at its best right now. Shout out to Adam, the captain of the Moral Felon crew. Welcome to the party. Said F them all. It's not like they didn't know this stuff on each other long before they parted ways. Yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. Very true. All right, let's dive back in.
Is an irrelevant.
Wait, yeah. Is Jake about to take Ben's side here?
Relevant midget. Neither party actually puts forward the claims made by the other party and refutes it with evidence. This is ultimately just a messy shit-slinging fest, and the best way for us to actually find out who's right here would be if they sat down and had a debate, but something tells me that that's not going to happen. So anyways, more...
Probably not. Guys, landscapers, we are slacking on the likes. Please do me a favor and hit that like button if you are on the vertical stream. Double tap the screen. It is free, it is easy, and it helps out the channel so much. Thank you, guys.
Interestingly, we'll move on to the next call-outs.
If we hire awful people, we're responsible for that. I have some experience there, as you might suspect.
I wonder who he's talking about.
That means that if we offer a guest for your viewing, we owe it to you to ask the kinds of questions that actually get at the truth. If we agree with the guest, that's fine, but we should own it. So, for example, if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes...
And so again, now we're just going back to wokeness, and he's an ist and a this and a that. Take on his ideas. You seem to be very sure, Ben, that your ideas on Israel and Nick himself are justified. So again, why not bring it to the public instead of just sitting in your little thing? Well, this is the worst. And again, I agree with Mad Rush that I don't get it. I don't get it. He's funny. He's interesting. He's a little too out there for me. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know. But again, there's levels to this shit.
You know, the Nick Fuentes who said that the vice president of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet. The person who said that Charlie Kirk...
As a Jeet, that is funny.
The United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's funny. Merry Christmas to you as well. Guys, I will be streaming tomorrow night. 8 p.m. Eastern, normal time, I will be streaming. So after you do whatever Christmas Eve family stuff, or if you don't celebrate, come on through. It will be a panel show for anybody who wants to join. It's not. Let me back up. If I know you, we're not doing this with these random people and all that stuff. But if I know you, then you can come on up. We can chit chat. It'll be chill and all that stuff. Wait, are we less? Are we left or right or center? Oh, me? Well, that's it's a little broad of a question, but I'd say I'm a right-leaning libertarian. Welcome to the party. Lone Wolf said, always keep in mind, Democrats have their lowest polling numbers in the history of polling, and still, the midterms don't look good. So take that for what it's worth. Let me say I like Candace. I've never heard a single person actually go after things she's saying. Appears to look like a moron trying to get her in a gotcha. And I agree. I think that the problem with this though is like that's like saying, well, nobody ever addresses what the flat earther is actually saying. Yeah, it's because we don't care enough to listen. I don't care enough to listen to the ramblings of an insane ex-girlfriend. So, yeah, if you're not into the story, then we don't know what the fuck she's saying to be able to call her out on specifics. Now, if you're gonna be Piers Morgan and try to do that, maybe watch the show. Did the exact same thing with Nick. But yeah, I can see enough of what it is to know that I don't want to see it. Shout out to Cosmic Blackie. Welcome. Nicki Minaj lost 10 million followers in one day. God damn. But you know, I guess I don't really have a frame of reference for how many followers big celebrities have. Is that like most of her shit, or does she have like 100 million? I don't have a frame of reference there, but yeah. Poor girl. How dare you talk to Erica Kirk? How dare you say something positive about Christians? You know you can't do that. Be Wise, welcome to the party. So she was at the event that we are talking about here, the Turning Point USA America Fest, and she was just having a rational conversation. I only saw a clip, but basically talking to Erica Kirk and consoling her. And just saying, again, I don't know if anybody has it specifically. I know what we can do. We'll do a little side quest. Let's see. What did Nicki Minaj, right? We're talking about Nicki Minaj? I always mix them up. Nicki Minaj and what's the other one?
What is something that you want to leave
Hold on. Too quickly.
as a legacy? What is something that you want?
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Where am I? Okay. Take 1 week off, and I don't even know how to work my computer anymore. So this is why people are mad at Nicki Minaj.
I ask you in closing, what is something that you want to leave as a legacy in this world for your family, for your baby, for just everything?
Well,
Did it freeze? Oh, okay.
That it's okay to change.
So before we even get to what she's saying, let's acknowledge that she is taking this moment in a very deep emotional way. That right there is just, hey, I'm just being me. So whatever comes out of her mouth next.
That it's okay to change your mind.
Based.
Yeah. It's okay to change your mind. You don't have to, sometimes there's a lot of things projected onto you when you change your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
They project fear, shame onto people.
And we know that well. We've got our own projection whistle. Projection. So that's for everybody projecting onto Nicki Minaj. Now, again, am I a fucking super fan of? I barely remember what this person's name was. But the fact that that she's losing 10 million followers over this, what are we doing?
Project fear, shame onto people who don't think and do as they think and do. But I've traveled the world. I've performed for huge crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this. Because this is a direct link for younger people. This is a direct link between young people and God. And there's been a lack of that. There's been a lack of that in our media, in our everyday conversations. People have been, interestingly enough, people have been, Christians have been being persecuted right here in our country in different ways. So when we talk about Nigeria and other countries, know that prior administrations saw nothing wrong with that. And that's what was.
Is this real?
Wrong with them. I truly feel that there are people out there who felt good about chastising Christians right here in our country.
I was one of those people. It was years ago, but chastising Christians for being Christian when I was in my early militant atheist phase, I was one of those people. Sorry.
And it's kind of really, really sick. We can't let people like that be in power, you guys. That's the truth. I can sugarcoat it and laugh and kiki, but the truth is, I am here today to tell you guys that. We absolutely cannot let people who have a problem with us worshiping God, we cannot have them in power. We cannot have them in power. All you have to do is look at what is happening in other places in the world. Look at what is being done to Christians all around the world.
What exactly does this mean?
And ask yourself.
Oh, sorry. Marilyn said, I am not a Nicki fan, but she has an Aquarius rising like me. She's got that high queen energy. Well, hey, I totally believe in all of that.
Why people in this country that were in positions of power felt so comfortable to try to take our voices from us. They were that afraid, they are that intimidated, they are that insecure, they are that small inside that hearing us and seeing us worship God irritated them. Our spirit.
That's the difference between who I am now and who I was when I was just talking about that. That I don't, I did have an emptiness. I did have an anger. And now that I don't have that anger and I do have that spiritual fulfillment, even without a God belief, then I'm not threatened by other people having different beliefs. Now, if we talk about when you're saying, okay, people who don't believe in God shouldn't be able to be involved in politics. I mean, like, I get what you mean, but let's slow your roll there. But there's an interesting aspect of that anger and where it comes from, and some people never make it out. Some people never make it out. Blueberry Street, welcome, said Christopher Hitchens was partly responsible for bringing me back to Jesus. I love him, but he made the argument for it's stronger. Well, hey, whatever works, right? Whatever works. All right, do we need...
Irritates them.
Just finish
because
this
when
up.
we speak, they get shown up. When the truth walks in the room, the lies hide. They don't come out willingly. You got to pry it out of them. They hide because they don't want you or anyone to know who they really are behind closed doors, because even they know how evil it is to try to deprive people of worshiping God.
Yeah, completely agree. That is evil to prevent people from wanting to worship God. I don't have that God. I don't have that. That's not directly relevant to my life. But that's what having principles mean. That's what it means to have principles. Libby said, Minaj sold out a generation to drugs, alcohol, and promiscuity. Now we got to listen to this bitch talk about religion. I mean, I'm not... Yeah, you know how I feel about the religion part. But her exact message was it's okay to change your mind. Would you prefer that she continues to sell out the next generation to drugs, alcohol, and promiscuity? Or would you prefer that she's saying this? 10 million followers lost because of that. Insanity. All right, let's get back to Benny Boy.
You know, the Nick Fuentes who said that the vice president of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet. The person who said that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, retarded idiot. The person who said, and pardon my language here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and fucked it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. If you have that person...
I mean, broken clock. But, fuck, I just... Why? What? I'm off. You got to let me ease back into the streaming, guys. I just had something to say.
Quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and fucked it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. And here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA. You ought to...
I completely lost it. Yeah, I think, given the context, that's fucking funny.
Own it.
Liberty, going back to Nicki Minaj, said, I changed my mind 10 seconds ago. Now I'm going to lecture others about God. Nah, this is how religion is used to manipulate people. I agree. The problem is that we have to acknowledge that doing this is still better than selling everything that you're talking about. So I'm not saying that anybody should be looking to Nicki Minaj as a fucking spiritual leader. I'm saying if people are going to be shitty people and then become better people, okay, cool. Hey, we got Box in the building. Welcome to the party. Merry Christmas. Remember, guys, I will be here tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Where did that applause go? Shout out to Easy. Welcome. Did a bunch of OH? Am I hurt? What are y'all talking about? And shout out to Frank. Welcome to the party.
There is a reason that Charlie Kirk despised Nick Fuentes, and indeed even chided Dinesh D'Souza for debating him. He knew that Nick Fuentes is an evil troll, and that building him up is an act of moral imbecility. And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper.
So that's what you're going to bring to America Fest in the most tumultuous time since Trump has been for the right, since Trump has been in office, and you want to use it to be like, well, they're bad and they're bad and they're bad, but I'm amazing. Pretty gay, dude. Pretty gay.
As America's best and most honest popular historian. Hosts are indeed responsible for the guests they choose and the questions they ask those guests.
How dare you platform that person? Oh my goodness.
All right, so the first thing that jumps
Clutching
out at
my
me here
pearls.
is the total lack of accountability by Ben. He seems to think that the reason that Nick Fuentes was able to have a monumental rise.
Actually, yeah, Bog said, I used to think only the left ate its own, but I guess not. This is exactly why we needed to talk about the woke right. Because it wasn't happening on the right. But then the wokies stopped focusing on the woke left and started focusing on, well, purity testing. Do you hate Israel enough? Or do you, whatever the fuck it is. Exactly like the woke left. When you get it, you get it. All right, what is in here?
Is the total lack of accountability by Ben. He seems to think that the reason that Nick Fuentes was able to have a monumental rise this year is because of Tucker Carlson platforming him and not just playing clips the whole time and trying to hammer him, but rather taking a more curious tone in the interview. He seems to think that everybody should be doing what Piers Morgan did, but that didn't really go so well, did it, Ben?
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally.
Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow, says the guy who's never got laid.
I mean, that built his profile up more than the Tucker interview. And I don't think there's really much doubt about that. So ultimately,
yeah, that's an interesting point. I never really put that together, but the Nick and Tucker interview was very, I'll say, like, from a PR optics lens, that was really, really good for Nick. But it also was as much as we got to learn about Nick and what he really is about instead of just seeing clips, he got more eyeballs from Piers Morgan. What does that tell you? Maybe the age of purity testing is going out the window, and the people who are focused on truth and what will make America better will win. Hopefully.
What Ben is actually calling for here is for him to be silenced and for there to be more gatekeeping going on in the conservative movement. And this is what Ben Shapiro has spent the better part of the last decade doing to Nick. And also, that didn't work very well either, did it, Ben? This is a strategy that has been proven to fail, and Ben is still trying to run with this. He's still trying to run with the well poisoning strategy. And what well poisoning is during wartime, they would actually poison the water source. And yes, this is designed to actually directly kill the enemy, but also to sow distrust in the source of the water. So people would be scared to drink from the source. So
I didn't actually know that's where I understood, poison the well was poisoning an actual well, but I didn't know about that.
When we speak about this metaphorically, what we're speaking about is before somebody gets popular or before their message gets out, you tarnish their name with all sorts of different labels. It's almost like a preemptive ad hominem strike. And Ben Shapiro has been doing this to Fuentes for ages. And we can see him on the stage here trying to do the exact same thing. He doesn't actually address Nick's ideas and his arguments and his claims. He just tries to poison the well.
Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes.
And at some point, and
again, maybe I'm getting old and I'm into my boomer mindset, but like that is a badge of honor for a Zoomer. That's a badge of honor to have Ben Shapiro talk about you that way. You're breaking the mold. That's what they care about.
Is now.
For better
or
worse.
You can't do that anymore. You can't just continue to well poison and to try and dehumanize and deperson them and get them deplatformed. You have to actually try and contend with this individual's legitimate arguments and try and understand why they're resonating with so many people, particularly young people. And then you have to provide solid counter arguments. And clips like the following just actually show how out of touch Ben Shapiro is with young people.
It gets worse. It's from the Trigonometry podcast. I'm warning you, it's gonna be bad.
A young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities.
So anyway, Nick
Yeah,
Fuentes.
and that's exactly what I mean. That's just at this point, because of the fact that the woke left drove these words into the ground, then it's not even a matter of taking on the argument of whether or not you're a racist. It's just, I don't care if you think that, because I know what I think, and I'm not racist based on the definition that makes sense in society. So if you are saying something different, all right, whatever.
Responded to this, so check that out.
Heroes, the Levins, the Wex.
Let's see this in full. We got, what happened? We got, I'm going to do this for the clip. We've got Ben Shapiro and Nick getting I cannot fucking talk today. Jesus Christ.
And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities.
So anyway, Nick Fuentes responded to this, so check that out.
Heroes, the Levins, the Wexlers, we're just laughing in your face. We're not listening. You had your chance. You had goodwill. You even had censorship and all sorts of other built-in advantages in the media market, and you blew it with your disingenuousness, with your omissions and your lies.
Think about how ubiquitous Daily Wire was for a while. Years?
Your hypocrisy, your cancel culture, you blew it. Think about the advantage that they had. A guy like Ben Shapiro, he had no rivals. And Tucker pointed this out. Shapiro has a deal with Facebook. I imagine he has a deal with YouTube. So while everybody was being censored by Facebook and YouTube, Shapiro was being promoted. Do you know what a good deal that is? That would be like if you went into business selling hamburgers and the government said, we're going to subsidize Burger King and McDonald's is not allowed to obtain a business license.
I did just watch that movie Founder with the story of McDonald's, but that's a pretty good analogy. That's the
deal that Daily Wire had going. They were like the #2 advertiser on Facebook for a decade.
Right. One of them said censorship is trash, no matter who does it. Good arguments defeat bad arguments. Bingo. And so while I have a lot of disagreements with the type of arguments that Nick makes, it's up to me then to give the better perspective and not just be like, well, he is racist and he said Hitler is cool. Just gay. Let me say, I stopped watching Ben Shapiro so long ago, I don't see him as relevant at all. Yep, that's what Candace said. This was the nail in the coffin that we all now understand. We all knew it. We all saw the gradual fall. But now it is done. Not his career. Again, parroting Dave Smith when he talked about the debate with Douglas Murray. And people were saying, oh, you destroyed his career. Nope. Unfortunately, the woke right is up and well. So all you did was destroy his reputation, which is definitely not good, but he'll have a career for a long time.
Deal that Daily Wire had going, they were like the #2 advertiser on Facebook for a decade or something like that. The #2 most prolific ad buyer on the platform. Meanwhile, and that's the biggest platform. Everybody else was banned. And for 10 years, they were the beneficiary of cancel culture and all those other structural benefits. And what they did with that is they just abused the good faith and the goodwill of the people. They showed their hand, which is they don't care about Americans. They only care about Israel. They were hypocrites. They lied. They were disingenuous. If anybody was critical of their position, they were dismissive or they tried to destroy that person, like myself. Mm-hmm. And I said on Twitter...
Instead of, like we're talking about, instead of actually taking on the argument and saying, you are wrong because of this, another person that Ben has plenty of time and resources to dedicate an entire special of, I'm going to go through everything Nick Fuentes has ever said that's wrong and tell you why he's wrong. He could do that. Theoretically, I mean, he could do that. What is going on? Same thing with Candace. But instead, he stands on stage with no pushback in the most welcoming of audiences and chooses then to air out his grievances. Again, I'll give him the credit for actually dropping names, but pretty gay, man. Shout out to Mango. Welcome to the party. Said all of it is worse than my anal leakage. Shit's all over the place. Well, good luck with that, sir.
Were dismissive, or they tried to destroy that person, like myself. And I said on Twitter earlier tonight, I said, Ben Shapiro's finished. You're done, little man. America has had enough of Ben Shapiro. We see you for what you are, and now we're done with you. Americans are not listening to you. We don't care what you have to say because...
Buck says Nick is the moderate, and 100% of the poll pick the better option between Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson. Imagine that goes to Tucker Carlson. So, well, that too. I say we throw this to okay. Finish the statement here. So Nick is the moderate compared to, or Nick is the moderate. Finish the sentence, and then so I can make it an agree or disagree. I want it to be exactly your words.
And now we're done with you. Americans are not listening to you. We don't care what you have to say because we know that you don't care about us. So you have contempt for us. And honestly, at this point, the feeling is mutual.
I would not say that I have contempt for Ben Shapiro. He is too irrelevant to elicit contempt. You got to be more important than that. But the downfall is real.
So I saw today he had another great clip defending H-1B visas. Nice. So the message from the Shapiro and Levin crowd is 50-year mortgages. If you can't afford to buy a home in the city you grew up in, then you should leave. H-1B visas, which is a scam for cheap foreign labor, are actually necessary. Oh, and if anybody criticizes Israel, they're a Nazi and they need to shut up. And we're going to war with Iran.
That's pretty much the entire Ben Shapiro platform. You haven't missed out on anything if you just listen to that. I mean, not that I've been watching it, but I think.
That's a really winning message. Unfortunately for them, now we have free speech on the internet, so there's other people around that can challenge that.
All right, moving on now to the Steve Bannon calling.
All right, I heard, who was it? Somebody said either that Ben went hard on Bannon, or Bannon fucking went hard on Ben. Either way, let's do it.
Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country. He's not...
You mean like you have a loyalty to Israel?
Actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning...
Oh yeah, and saying that Nick is a retard is an argument based in evidence. Come on, man. What are we doing? This is what wokeness is. You are trying to lambaste somebody for doing a thing, and in that in that speech, you are doing exactly what they are doing that you're calling out. You can't have it both ways. What the fuck is going on with my camera? Keeps doing that. I don't like it. But yeah, Adam said, Funches like Andrew Wilson, they have an upper limit of people who will listen to them. And yeah, if you haven't heard what I've said about them before, I see them in a very similar light when it comes to the balance of am I doing this because I really want to change society, or am I doing this because I can make a lot of money doing it? Both are completely fair if you want to do that, but there's a difference. And you can guess where I think both of these guys stand.
Policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country. He's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein.
You are doing it right now, man. If you don't like that, then why are you doing it right now?
People that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record.
We can't. It's all fucking redacted.
Okay, so I don't know if Ben Shapiro realized this or if he did this intentionally, but he, in one sentence, did the very same
Exactly.
thing
Thank you.
that he accuses Steve Bannon of. He accused Bannon of maligning political opponents without evidence. And then he maligns Bannon by saying that he ran PR for Jeffrey Epstein. And
I mean, it's one-to-one. That is the wokeness that can exist on the right. That is wokeness. I don't know how else to put it. Shout out to Mom Tag. Welcome to the party. Said liked and shared. Oh my goodness. Thank you so very, very much. You guys know how much that stuff really, really, really does help. And it doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link that you share. Just by you telling the platform that you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Welcome to the party.
this undoubtedly insinuates that Bannon was knowingly complicit in the sex trafficking of children. And we actually don't know about that. We don't know if he had any direct knowledge and involvement in a cover-up of this magnitude. There were many people who would have worked with Epstein in different capacities, scientists, for example, who were getting grants, who weren't complicit in the sex trafficking. And that is a very serious claim, and that requires evidence, and that requires justification. But once again, what we're seeing here is Shapiro engaging in well poisoning. And Steve Bannon also responded during his speech.
Now, right, here we go. Whoever amped this up, it better deliver. It better deliver. Let's see.
What we're seeing here is Shapiro engaging in well poisoning. And Steve Bannon also responded during his speech.
Now, Benji Shapiro sat up here last night, and he was all, it's all about the truth. Ben, I've known you a long time, brother. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA. Let's be blunt. He is a hardcore never Trumper. He's a hardcore never Trumper. In the spring of 16, he tried to upend Breitbart. He walked off the job, made a big deal about some incident in Mar-a-Lago with Corey Lewandowski.
Ben only was on board with Trump when it was the only option. Now that we've got some further areas where you can kind of carve out, okay, it makes sense that you don't have TDS because you don't like Trump doing this, that, and the other. Now that exists, you ain't got nowhere to go. You ain't got nowhere to go.
Tried to upend Breitbart. He walked off the job.
Or actually, no, I said that backwards. I mean, he took the opportunity to get out of supporting Trump as soon as he could. I flipped it the other way around. Oh my goodness! Look at what we have here. Our boy Confluence.
What's up?
Welcome.
Sorry I'm late.
Party, sir. Very
Extremely
good.
Extremely late.
All good. So real quick, if people don't know who you are, who are you? What do you do? And where can people find you?
My name's Confluence. Oh, full screen, baby. Let's go. Confluence 358 on YouTube. I do nightly panels at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not going to be doing them Christmas Eve, although you're already there with Lutch for that. But always do open panels. Always have people up. And yeah, find me Confluence 358 on YouTube. Can't even say my own username. Sorry, been a bit of a hassle. Just got home.
Beautiful. Welcome. And so like I told you, I didn't really do any kind of deep dives on any of the speeches. I haven't watched anything in full. But Jake Rattlesnake did a pretty good job of kind of compiling the Ben Shapiro arc of what happened. So how familiar are you with the speeches themselves?
The only ones I watched was the Ben Shapiro one and the Tucker Carlson one. The ones that I found were most interesting. And so I've seen all those, and very different types of speeches.
Yeah, all right. Interesting.
In good ways and in bad ways. Have you seen a Nicki Minaj saga that happened? Have you already played that? Okay.
Yep. Poor little Nicki.
That was bad.
I think a lot. So, how do you, as a Christian, how do you feel about her statement? specifically the closing note. I could play it again if you want.
Whose statement?
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, I just know the guffaw, the assassin guffaw. That's the only thing I know. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, that's the clip when she's sitting with Erica, and if you haven't seen that, okay, I have to send this to you. It's like a minute long. It's a minute long. I will find it. I thought this is what you meant. I didn't know something else happened with.
No, well, so at the end of whatever sit down they were doing, Erica just kind of gave her the floor to say what she wants to say, and she was essentially saying that it is good to change your mind. And she invoked Christianity, and some people in this chat were essentially saying, "I don't want to hear from this bitch about religion because she was selling drugs and alcohol, or not selling them, but let's see if I can find it. That was Liberty, right? But essentially, just saying,
I want to see that.
She sold out. How long is what?
How long is the ending thing?
Just a few minutes.
Okay, and this is I sent you the thing. I found it. I thought this is what you're talking about because this is like the most awkward thing ever.
Right. So yeah, Liberty saying Minaj sold out a generation to drugs, alcohol, and promiscuity. Now we got to listen to this bitch talk about religion. Fuck that. And
I was surprised she was even there. I didn't know. Does she have like a conservative come to Jesus moment?
I mean,
has she always been conservative? Like, I don't know.
Supposedly, yeah. That's the idea, is that she became a Christian.
Hold up. I'm muted on my end. Why would I be? Oh, do I have to have this? Oh yeah, because my mic needs to be playing.
Huh?
If my chat can let me know if they can hear me or not, because I'm streaming as well. And I'm not. Everyone said I was just muted because I have your stream shared on my screen, but I guess I also have to have myself on screen.
Word up. Let us know.
They're good now. Yeah, they're good. Okay.
Word up. Gominic said, when will Confluence go for the Mohawk we spoke about?
Yeah, I did not go for the Mohawk. I feel like that'd be so much effort every day having to put that much product. I was like, can't do it. It'd be a vibe though.
I'm with Virgil here. Is that Nicki's now in Trumper? Cry. A lot of people are crying about it, and it seems to be people on both sides. I understand if you're on the left, why you'd be like, "Oh my goodness, how could you do this?" But I don't understand why people are so upset. So can you ask Confluence to brighten up his room? His glow seems a little low.
I think I'm looking plenty white.
Looking good. Shout out to John Castle in the building as well. Welcome. No. But let's see what he has for us. This was not the thing we played about Nicki Minaj. This is something different.
Did Nicki Minaj just make the biggest gaffe ever?
You have amazing role models like the assassin.
Oh, I did. Okay, now
our vice president.
Oh my goodness! Now that I hear it again, I did see it, and oh man, this was bad. We'll play it again, and let it roll out. But I do remember this. It was bad.
Biggest gaffe ever.
You have amazing role models like the assassin, J.D. Vance, our vice president.
She called J.D. Vance an assassin in a conversation with, of all people, Erica Kirk, whose husband Charlie was assassinated just 4 months ago. The singer realizes her blunder and looks mortified. But Erica gracefully brushes it off.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
It was a surprising pairing at the Turning Point USA conference.
I hate they had over talking there. It was the original moment is so much more awkward to see.
Second.
I said I hate that they had that stupid narrator talking. I didn't know it had that on the one I said. Because it's the moment, it's just like the awkward silence, and you could just tell Nicki just like looks terrified. Like she's like, "What did I say?" Like it's a big foot in the mouth moment.
And definitely a big oof. Shout out to our boy Box with the $2. Confluence has a Temu. Oh yeah, now I don't need to move the camera. Yeah, of course, a treat.
It is a bad headset.
Morty.
Oh,
Hey, donate. Go on his channel and donate there if you want to. If you want to get new stuff, then give him the money for it. Otherwise, just sit there and enjoy the goddamn show. All right, so we were at, like I said, Jake Rattlesnake had a good thing here. What we'll do is back it up to what Ben was saying. Oh, it's on the screen. We'll go to what Ben was saying, and then Steve Bannon responded. And yes, if you want me to pause, just let me know.
And for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country. He's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record.
Like, so that's such a cheap shot. It's like as if we don't obviously know that yes, there are people on the list that are doing horrible things. There's also a lot of material in there that we don't know anything about. And like, it doesn't matter to him that somebody could turn around and do the same thing about Trump or something like that.
Steve Bannon is such a sleazeball, though. So it is a low blow, but I think Steve Bannon deserves all the low blows he gets. I'm just going to say that.
Fair enough. Shout out to Drew. Welcome. Let's see the response.
Check the record.
Okay, so I don't.
Oh, can you pause for a sec?
This, or if he
Can you hit him with a bum? Because Fox, a man of his word, came over $20 for a new headset, bro.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Fox. And it will be put toward a new headset. Very appreciative.
And so,
Very kind of you.
So here's for now. Of course, every donation gets a treat for Morty, and so we're gonna give him this in the future. I'm thinking, oh yeah. So right now, up in the corner above the chat, in StreamYard, is there a button that says Stream and Studio Audio?
Okay, what if I click that?
I wouldn't do it right now because then that's going to start a new stream.
Oh, I see.
With like the thumbnail and everything.
But next time I could do that. Okay.
Yeah. So then it all will come up. So wherever you guys are watching from, I'll be able to pull up your chats and super chats and all that stuff. And Drew said I joined the vertical stream like a serial killer. Oh, Verdes, he is coming at you. Shout out to the landscapers though. We got Behave in the building. Welcome. I'm so sorry to hear that you lost your fur baby. We got to give a big dilly. What was her name? I'm not going to be okay when it happens to me. Indeed, we are live both in vertical and on landscape. If you are on the vertical stream and you want to be on the regular one, then you can just click the pinned link. If that doesn't work, just go to hit the channel and you'll see the other version. I put a V in front of the one that's vertical, so you know. Oh man, the rivalry! Hey. Drew with the $3. Thank you. Said welcome back. It does feel like I've been gone forever. There we go. Thank you very, very much, sir. Yeah, you take a week off, not even a week. And I was nervous before I started. I'm flubbing my words, and oh my goodness.
I liked your break because then you got to show up on my panel a bunch.
Yeah.
And be a little sauce sometimes. I hope you all were there watching that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, so Conchita, dilly to Conchita. R.I.P. All right, let's get back to the party. So if you are just joining us, Ben Shapiro was talking shit about Steve Bannon, and now we're going to get Bannon's response. He implied that he was, an Epsteiner.
Check the record.
Okay, so I don't know if Ben Shapiro realized this or if he did this intentionally, but he, in one sentence, did the very same thing that he accuses Steve Bannon of. He accused Bannon of maligning political opponents without evidence. And then he maligns Bannon by saying that he ran PR for Jeffrey Epstein. And this undoubtedly insinuates that Bannon was knowingly complicit in the sex trafficking of children. And we actually don't know about that. We don't know if he had any direct knowledge. And
wait, hold up. But he did do what Ben said. Like, it might be a low blow, but like Steve Bannon did get paid to do like rehabilitation stuff for Epstein.
Right, but the implication is that he was on the island fucking little kids.
No, he didn't say that. He said he's doing. That's a sleazy thing to do. Why would you trust Steve Bannon, who knowingly did PR for Epstein after everyone knew Epstein was a PDF file?
I'm saying that with the understanding that the Epstein files do not have the client, a specific client list and all that shit. To just say, oh well, he's in the file. Let's check the records. You know what the fuck you're doing. You know,
he didn't say that. He said that he did PR.
Oh, honey, sweetie,
baby. And he
then why did he have to punctuate it? Why did he have to punctuate it with check the records?
Like I think he was saying like fact check me if you don't believe me. I think he's saying like look it up because I think people booed and he's like okay look it up.
What do you guys think?
It's weird that we disagree on this. How bad? Like it's not just that he's like there's a photo of him like. He actually did like PR work for Epstein. That is a notable thing to point out. Who would do that? You got to be a sleazeball, right?
Okay.
I think that's a perfectly fair thing to point out.
But then when you're, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that that Bannon's done a bunch of shit. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if in the same way that Ben had the balls to actually say people's names when he was calling them out, if you want to imply that he's buddy with Epstein, which inherently is going to bring people's minds to the worst thing, then say, oh, I know that he didn't do this, but he did that. So, but he didn't do that. He just said, he did it with Epstein. So check the fucking...
He said he did PR for Epstein. He did do PR for Epstein. I feel like that's a worthwhile thing to point out, you know?
All right.
When I read that, I didn't even get an implication that Bannon was like, I just think he did work to rehabilitate someone who's like a S offender, you know, like that's a wild thing to do, you know. I didn't take it to mean that Ben's implying that, you know, Steve Bannon was, you know, doing the deed. I think it's bad enough to just say that Steve Bannon is doing PR work for Epstein, because again, that speaks to character. Why the fuck would you do that, Steve Bannon? He's a sleazeball. That's what I said.
That's not. You're not addressing what I'm saying. You're not addressing what I'm. You're defending Steve Bannon. You're defending me, defending Steve Bannon. That's not what happened. I'm attacking Ben Shapiro.
I know, and I'm defending what Ben is saying. I'm not. I think what Ben said is totally fine. I don't think Ben is implying anything. He said a direct, true statement.
Anybody else having trouble on the vertical stream? Again, guys, if you want to hop over to the landscape stream, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. But welcome to the party. We also got Nikki, Muay Thai, and Fitness. Welcome. I say I'm a right-leaning, lowercase L libertarian. That's where I go. What about you? Confluence.
Sorry, I just got a chat that distracted me. They're saying they can see the private chat because I have it open in StreamYard. That's not a big deal, but yeah, that's how it looks because I have it open because I'm sharing IndianJesus's stream. Sorry, am I liberal Nick, or conservative?
Yeah,
well, Nick, I think we're both conservatives here. I'm center right though, center right, so not all the way right.
I'm still moving away from the Republican word, the conservative word. It's looking more and more like the dirty party that I never wanted to associate way back when. We had one more here thought. Thank you. Well, Shapiro did imply some nefarious connection with Epstein. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
He directly said he did PR work for Epstein, which he did. He didn't imply anything. He directly stated it, and he's not implying something that's not true. He's directly stating a fact. That's why he says check the record. He's like, if you don't believe me, look it up. Look what Bannon actually did.
It just went right over his head, guys. That's okay.
I don't know what went over my head. Am I crazy, chat?
Yes. Yeah, let him know he's
someone
fucking
here that agrees.
shout out to Cherry said, so is the guy on the bottom, I would assume that's you on the vertical. Yeah, so the guy on the bottom, the one that shocks his dog, if so, loving the treats for his little butterball. Yes, this is Hassan Piker, and feel free to say anything that you've ever wanted to say to Hassan Piker to Confluence here. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, I am not politically homeless. Like I'm definitely MAGA, but I say that in the context of I think we are more MAGA than Trump. So that's a whole other thing.
I might become more center than right after this Epstein stuff continues to fall out, with the files.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's moving me. It's moving me.
All right. So going back to Steve Bannon's response to Ben.
In the sex trafficking of children. And we actually don't know about that. We don't know if he had any direct knowledge and involvement in a cover-up of this magnitude. There were many people who would have worked with Epstein in different capacities, scientists, for example, who were getting grants, who weren't complicit in the sex trafficking. And that is a very
not in 2019, Jake. Bannon's stuff was like recent. That's the thing. After all the stuff had come out, it's one thing to be in the weeds, at the time, right? Maybe you could say you didn't know. When Bannon did it, he knew. He was doing it to rehabilitate his image. Okay, so I know you're not pro Bannon. I'm just pointing that out. Okay. All
right. So then, as long as we get that fact down, then then we're good. All right, diving back in.
And that required we're getting grants who weren't complicit in the sex trafficking, and that is a very serious claim, and that requires evidence and that requires justification. But once again, what we're seeing here is Shapiro engaging in well poisoning, and
not just the well poisoning, but exactly the thing that he is complaining about in the poisoning of the well. He's complaining about people doing this as he is doing this.
I feel like we have to be talking past each other, because when Ben complains about that, he's complaining about people saying unproven stuff about oh, Trump's in a photo, even though Trump says he's never on the island. Oh, Trump's name is in the files, right?
Okay,
that's casting aspersions, right? That's not what Ben Shapiro's doing. He's pointing to stuff we know actually happened. He's not making guesses. What Ben doesn't like is when people get well poisoned and when people are just speculating.
So here's what we'll do. I want to back
be
this
fair
up.
to Ben here. I don't know.
I mean, I'm trying. So, okay, we got. So let's try to find. Control F. We'll go. Anti. Oh, those aren't the right. Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, Bannon did betray Trump in his first term.
So these are all
Trump fired his ass.
Okay. What the hell? 12:11. I don't know. Why are we not playing? Struggle streaming. It's not even on the screen.
Like a preemptive ad hominem strike. And Ben Shapiro has been doing this to Fuentes for ages. And we can see him on the stage here trying to do the exact same thing. He
So I backed up to where Ben is doing the same thing, but about Nick Fuentes.
Doesn't actually address Nick's ideas and his arguments and his claims. He just tries to poison the well.
Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes.
And at some point, and that point is now, you can't do that anymore. You can't just continue to well poison and to try and dehumanize and deperson them and get them deplatformed. You have to actually try and contend with this individual's legitimate arguments and try and understand why they're resonating with so many people, particularly young people. And then you have to provide solid counter arguments. And clips like the following just actually show how out of touch Ben Shapiro is with young people.
Okay, so before we do that, let's shout out Atomic Ray over on Rumble. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So Ben will throw everything around him. Ben will throw everything around him but him down the well. The world is very ill. Agreed. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
You're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up. But the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities.
So deport the poors.
So anyway, Nick Fuentes responded to this, so check that out.
The Levins, the Wexlers, we're just laughing in your face. We're not listening. You had your chance. You had goodwill. You even had censorship and all sorts of other built-in advantages in the media market, and you blew it with your disingenuousness, with your omissions and your lies, your hypocrisy, your cancel culture. You blew it. Think about the advantage that they had. A guy like Ben Shapiro, he had no rivals. And Tucker pointed this out. Shapiro has a deal with Facebook. I imagine he has a deal with YouTube. So while everybody was being censored by Facebook and YouTube.
Have you seen this clip, Confluence?
I haven't, no.
Okay, good. I want to get your fresh opinion.
Shapiro was being promoted. Do you know what a good deal that is? That would be like if you went into business selling hamburgers and the government said, we're going to subsidize Burger King and McDonald's is not allowed to obtain a business license.
Yeah.
That's the deal that Daily Wire had going. They were like the number 2 advertiser on Facebook.
Good.
I think it's a bad comparison because it's like there was competition. It's just, you know, it's like his example with like if it's not like YouTube only allowed one conservative channel to go, right? It's like maybe there was some like deal, but like Steven Crowder, right, was on YouTube, and yeah, then he got like in trouble and shit. But you know, there's alternatives, right? There's Rubin Report.
I only started streaming after COVID and all that stuff. And the idea that like it feels like you're so ready to go to bat for Ben Shapiro, and I don't fully understand it.
I do like Ben Shapiro, I will say. And I need my Hasbro check, okay?
Yeah, right. Shout out to Section 230. Yeah, I mean,
demonized or demonetized?
I was going to say both. You know, Nick obviously was debanked. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, during the COVID stuff, where you could lose your entire channel for saying whatever. Do you honestly think that would have happened to the Daily Wire, no matter what they said?
I think there's a reason why they're a lot more careful. Like if you watch Crowder and you watch Ben Shapiro, like Crowder will go right to the line and sometimes over the line. Ben is a lot more like careful about what he says, right? Like we have to be honest about that. He's not the same as Crowder. The point is, I think there's natural competition.
Nick or Ben?
Ben. I think Ben is way more responsible with his words than Crowder is. Pays way more attention to what's TOS, what's over the line, what could be counted as like hate speech in YouTube's eyes. Like he's just a smarter business guy in that way.
But I'm talking specifically on the content, the substance of what they're saying. He's not. What does Ben offer?
Well, that's a fair thing to say, but I'm saying my point. I mean, I can say why I like Ben and stuff, but my point is that Crowder will go out of his way to do like election denial stuff, whereas Ben Shapiro is a lot more, these are some suspicious things. Crowder's like, it's been stolen. Like I watched it live when in 2020, like Crowder was very much, and that's fine. But then it's like, if you're saying stuff that you know that YouTube is not going to like, and then YouTube does demonetize you, it's like, I wouldn't say that there's no then natural, competition of Ben Shapiro. So, I mean, I do like Ben. Do you think criticisms are not great?
Do you think that when Nick is talking about this, and he said that's like if you got a license to Burger King and McDonald's couldn't, or whatever it was, that he's saying that the landscape on YouTube was such that the Daily Wire was the only conservative channel? Is that what you think he's saying?
Well, he's saying that there's no competition, and there is competition there. Like,
okay,
I don't know.
So the question again,
what he means.
The question was, are you saying that what we just heard, we can play it again, that Nick is saying that the Daily Wire was the only channel, the only conservative channel on YouTube?
I mean, I think he must mean something. Because he knows there's other conservative channels. But why falsely state that there's no competition then? There is competition.
Because the point that he's getting at is that they had such a big advantage and nobody likes them. That's the point. They got the leg up.
I just don't like that he has to like throw a bunch of shit. They got up because they were a very popular thing. A lot of people watched the Ben Shapiro show. Nevertheless, Crowder still had like more live concurrence than freaking Benny Boy ever did, or any of the other Daily Wire people. Daily Wire has they've worked hard for what they have, right? The what is a woman, whole thing, right? That skyrocketed the whole place. Then what is it called? Am I racist? I know, but it's a whole. Ben Shapiro owns the Daily Wire with Jeremy Boring, right? It's like a whole media company. I mean, they put all that work into that. So
then I want to hear from Ben as much as I hear from Jeremy.
Wait, why?
Because neither of them have political commentary to offer me.
You're asking me why I'm like defending, but you seem to like really have like a hate boner for Ben.
No,
like, you don't think I think he offers good insight on the news from like a reasonable conservative thing. I think he's gotten worse in the past like year, but I think before that, I think he offered, sane kind of like, sane good old boy conservative talking points. And I thought it was it's obviously biased.
I don't like the good old
Israel.
I don't like the good old boy type of thing. And that's what I think that we're returning to. And I think that is a bad thing. Over on Rumble, Atomic Ray said the chances of Israel will be forever as long as we meddle with Muslims. I'm ashamed America doesn't see what involvement USA has into Mesopotamian geography. Ben has the legality or legitimacy of what to say socially. Oh, he has the legality of what to say socially because behind the scenes, he pushes something other than America first. Yep. And then Atomic finishes off saying the point is to push what benefits Ben. That can be seen in how he poisons damn near everything. Agreed.
I'm sure Ben tries to benefit Ben. Confluence tries to benefit Confluence. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Also, Ben doesn't even have Israeli citizenship. So the thing that he's like totally for Israel and not for America, I don't buy that. I think that's false. Obviously, he's pro-Israel, of course, but to say that
he's
that's
Israel
like
first.
somehow...
So you don't think he's Israel first?
I think if he's Israel first, he'd have Israeli citizenship.
That's wild. That's wild. Even when he specifically said the reason that I care about America is because of the connection to Israel.
I've never heard him say that.
Might need to find a side quest.
I've never heard him say that. If he said that, then I agree. Then he is Israel first. If he actually said that, but that's an if. That's an if.
We'll find it.
I want
somebody in the chat wants to throw that. Then help me out. But why don't we finish hearing what Nick has to say, and then we'll move on from there.
That's the deal the Daily Wire had going. They were like the number 2 advertiser on Facebook for a decade.
Yeah, just to tie a bow on that. Like, I think he's saying that they got way more benefits than they were allowed to grow in such a way that many other channels were held back. That's what I think he's saying. And I don't know how you could disagree with that.
I just even the stuff he's saying now, he's number 2 advertiser. First of all, he pays a lot of money to advertise on Facebook. Second of all, that's where people like all the people who watch Ben Shapiro are all old people. I saw Am I Racist in theaters because it was in theaters, and I was like the youngest person in the whole audience. Like everyone else was like a boomer.
I went with my boomer dad.
Yeah, so boomers aren't gonna watch like Nick Fuentes probably, right? They're not gonna watch Steven Crowder. They watch the Daily Wire. They want to see those kinds of people talk. Right. So it's like, I don't know. So I don't know if there's like an astroturfing that Nick is implying that's really happening here. I don't think it is astroturf.
So I do think we're talking past each other because what Nick is saying is that you've got your boomer shit and the rest of the world is moving on. That's essentially what he said. Let's let him finish. Let's let him finish. And then we'll come back to it.
Or something like that. The number 2 most prolific ad buyer on the platform. Meanwhile, and that's the biggest platform. Everybody else was banned. And for 10 years, they were the beneficiary of cancel culture and all those other structural benefits. And what they did with that is they just abused the good faith and the goodwill of the people. They showed their hand, which is they don't care about Americans. They only care about Israel. They were hypocrites. They lied. They were just...
Right. This deserves a dilly-dilly. Did anyone else notice that white supremacists aren't actually white? We got Nick Fuentes... what is he, Mexican or something? And
leader of the Proud Boys, Enrique Taro, or whatever his name is.
I wouldn't necessarily call him a white nationalist, but white
I
supremacist.
wouldn't necessarily call Nick one either. I thought that's what this comment was implying. I thought
he calls himself a white supremacist, does he not?
I think in jest. I don't think he actually identifies as a white supremacist. I mean, it's hard to tell with him, but
it is hard to tell. But yeah, and then you also did you ever see the clip of Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit when he was in some Twitter space with a bunch of white supremacists, and I don't know exactly what the conversation was, but he was like, "Yeah, we this, we that," and they're like, "Yo, what do you mean we? Like you're not white, you're leaving too." So shout out to Ryan. Yeah, Paul Miller is Mexican too. What's going on here? What is going on? Liberty said Ben is literally trying to bring about the Antichrist, and Christians are kissing his ass.
Bring about the Antichrist.
I'm gonna need a little more on that. All right.
Don't care about Americans. They only care about Israel. They were hypocrites. They lied. They were disingenuous. If anybody was critical of their position, they were dismissive or they tried to destroy that person, like myself. And I said on Twitter earlier tonight, I said, Ben Shapiro's finished. You're done, little man. America has had enough of Ben Shapiro. We see you for what you are, and now we're done with you. Americans are not listening to you. We don't care what you have to say because we know that you don't care about us. So you have contempt for us. And honestly, at this point, the feeling is mutual. So I saw today he had another great clip defending H-1B visas. Nice. So the message from the Shapiro and Levin crowd is
poor Americans out.
50-year mortgages. If you can't afford to buy a home in the city you grew up in, then you should leave. H-1B visas, which is a scam for cheap foreign labor, are actually necessary. Oh, and if anybody criticizes Israel, they're a Nazi and they need to shut up, and we're going to war with Iran.
Like, he's too ham-fisted. He's too ham-fisted, right? Like H-1B visas, I don't know if we disagree. I think there's a lot of abuses that happen. I think the system needs to be changed, but I also think that Ben is right that you do need H-1B visas. That there is helpful reasons to have that. Like in Canada, we have a similar thing. We don't call it H-1B, but it's like, obviously it's a different name, but we have like a nursing shortage. So we will use them to get like nurses in from like the Philippines. Happens like all the time, right? And it's like, that's a necessary thing. We don't have enough nurses currently. So there are sectors where
the solution to that should not be bring in other people. It should be, how do we get people to want to go to nursing school?
I agree, but I think in the short term, right? If you like, let's say during the C-19, right? If you maybe in the long term you want to incentivize, maybe somehow make the program shorter, or somehow subsidize it, or somehow find a way to increase wages, whatever you want to do. And that's a long term strategy you can do. But for the short term, if you have like a need that you can't wait 15 years for it to naturally solve itself, let's say, then I don't think there's anything wrong with using H-1B in limited numbers. I mean, I don't know if there's countries that don't have something like that. Like every country, to my knowledge, has some type of like skilled labor visa. I mean, maybe there's some that don't, but I think it's a pretty standard thing. And I think just because there's abuses on the H-1B visa, I don't think we should just scrap the whole fucking program. Section 230 says we don't need them at all. I just disagree. I
agree that we don't need them. I think there is a benefit if used properly, but to say that, we must have this, well, there's people without jobs and all that stuff. It doesn't pass.
It wouldn't collapse. I agree. It's not like necessary, but I think it's an economic boon to have them, and I think it does make sense to have them. I think they should be way cut down, to be clear. But
they train the H-1Bs. They don't come here knowing how to do this shit.
That's true in some cases. That's mostly not the case.
What? I thought why isn't the training going to Americans? What?
That's true, and that would be the abuse examples, but that's not the vast majority of cases. Vast majority of cases, it's like you need to have the actual skills ahead of time to do it. That's how H-1B works. In fact, it's not the majority. In fact, it's a different type of visa. If you get hired by a company and you're going to be trained, it's not an H-1B visa. It's a different type of visa. So I think you're getting your visas confused. Section 230.
Possibly.
I mean, you can look up H-1B.
I think there should not be any. We should not be training foreigners for jobs. We should train the people who are here.
Yeah, I would say the only case would be if someone is missing a small, let's say they have like, you know, I don't know, like a pilot's license in a different country. And so maybe they need a bit of training here, but it's a lot less than it would be to teach someone from the ground up and get them to have like whatever, your 3,000 hours of flight or something. You know what I mean? Like, there is some cases where it makes sense.
I agree. But again, the jump to be like, no, we need these. It's just like, well, okay, maybe there's use for them, but we have a huge immigration crisis right now. On Rumble, Atomic Ray said H-1B visas are bringing in untrained and some mentally unstable individuals. That is being overlooked by ICE until now. That details about individuals hunted are transparent. But a white male is a criminal first. Any response there? Fair enough. Fair enough. Section said they bring them in so they can pay them less and threaten to send them back if they complain. That's what H-1B visas are for.
And that's some of the abuses that need to be stopped. Absolutely. Because they shouldn't be allowed to pay them less. Like, that's actually in the law for an H-1B. You can't pay them less. But what happens is, obviously, people will just, flaunt the system sometimes. And the other thing is that they'll just make them work more hours kind of off the book. And then de facto, you're basically paying them less, even though on paper, they're making the same salary as everyone else is, right? Because that is
theoretically.
In the law. Yeah.
Theoretically. Canyon said, typically with H-1B visa hires go to for national companies that operate here in the U.S. that I can only read in English. Sorry. All right. Let's finish up with Nicky Boy.
This is Israel. They're a Nazi, and they need to shut up, and we're going to war with Iran.
Sounds great.
That's a really winning message. Unfortunately for them, now we have free speech on the internet, so there's other people around that can challenge that.
All right, moving on now to the Steve Bannon.
So that is the context of what the Zoomer mind. I'm not even saying the Groyper mindset, but the younger person mindset is almost entirely aligned with what Nick just said. You disagree with that?
No, I think young people are broadly retarded. Yeah, so I do think that they agree.
Wait, say I missed it. What people are retarded?
Young people are broadly retarded, so it would check out to me. So I fully believe that young people are believing Nick's message. I don't think they necessarily should, but
all right.
It's simplified. I think it's a low resolution take from Nick, who's famous for his low resolution takes that he says in a charismatic way, but I think ultimately there's not much depth. And I've watched a lot of Nick Fuentes content recently, and that's what I keep coming back to. He's funny, he has some good points, but it's like all like pretty like surface level because he has no solutions that he like ever can propose that are actually like realistic or will actually happen.
And that brings up the notion of between whether it's Nick Fuentes or Andrew Wilson, the question of they claim to be doing what they are doing to fix society or to help society. But it seems like a lot of things that they do are more just to enrich themselves. There's nothing wrong with being in entertainment and whatever to enrich yourself. But if you are actually grifting and saying, no, I care about this, but I'm purposely using words that's going to make my message harder for people to understand and da-da-da-da-da. Do you feel like that's kind of where he falls in?
Yeah, and it's like it's weird because there's like in some ways two different types of grifts that go on with like these right-wing people. So like Candace will like point to people like the Daily Wire, for example, and like imply that they're grifting or directly state it. But Candace is doing her own, like she's gotten so popular, right, on the back of like the Charlie Kirk stuff. And so it's like it's grifting in a different way. And Nick, even though Nick has been debanked and stuff, obviously if you're saying this stuff and there is an audience that has an appetite for these kind of like, anti-Semitic kind of talking points and anti-Israel stuff, whatever you want to call it. It's like, then Nick is big for a reason, right? And would he be as big if he wasn't doing it? Like he paints himself that, I just told the truth and that's why I'm censored. But I think if Nick didn't do that, I think he would be way less popular. I think it's because he says all his controversial stuff that he is having his heyday, So, and yeah, how well can he monetize that is a question. I don't know, right? Because obviously he doesn't make money off like the traditional ways. and you can't bank with like certain banks, but it's like, I think, yeah, there's sometimes it's like, yeah, it's beneficial to get a lot of hate on you because then you can say, look, I'm censored. I'm the most censored guy ever, right? That can become a type of grift in and of itself.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and I do think that, it doesn't necessarily need to be a binary choice that either you're here for yourself or, you care about the country. But Hub, welcome, said, I'm honestly starting to dig the Fuentes folks. They get stuff done, and after the subhuman goof troop Kirksies put me on their little list, Kirksies made me pro Fuentes.
What list were you on? What does that mean?
I don't know what any of that means, but fair enough. All right, so let's switch gears then to going back to the Bannon thing, and we'll see if you still want to ride for your boy.
When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flag for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record.
Okay, so I don't know if Ben Shapiro realized this or if he did this intentionally.
I'm going to skip. We talked about this part, so I'm just going to skip to the implication. We're disagreeing on whether saying that is an implication that Bannon was doing bad stuff with Epstein. I think it was, but Confluence says no. So fair enough.
I think so. I think he's saying he did PR for Epstein, which he did.
What we're seeing here is Shapiro engaging in well poisoning. And Steve Bannon also responded during his speech.
Now, Benji Shapiro sat up here last night, and he was all, I'm going to, it's all about the truth. Ben, I've known you a long time, brother. You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA. Let's be blunt. He is a hardcore never Trumper. He's a hardcore never Trumper.
And I think this is about where you jumped in. No, I mean, well, okay. Let's hear the next thing, and then I want to get your response on that then, because I absolutely agree here.
In the spring of 16, he tried to upend Breitbart. He walked off the job, made a big deal about some incident in Mar-a-Lago with Corey Lewandowski. He tried to turn it to Ted Cruz from Donald Trump because he hated Donald Trump. In the general election, he barely supported Donald Trump. The first sign of when President Trump gets sent back to Mar-a-Lago, the very first individual that jumped on the Ron DeSantis train, the Israel First train, was Ben Shapiro. And those are the darkest days we had. In 21 and 22, you guys were there. He's consistently been against Trump, and now that President Trump doesn't back the Greater Israel Project. What is Greater Israel? It's not about Israel itself. It's about an expansionist Israel, an imperial Israel that Netanyahu and that crowd have thought up. And the Israel First crowd is Ben Shapiro, Tel Aviv Mark Levin, and many others that want to put that ahead of America's interests.
So this.
All right. So where do you fall on that?
The thing that bugs me, I think I got to say this. First of all, I don't know why Steve Bannon is even speaking at this event in the first place. Steve Bannon again.
Well, Charlie's gone. They disinvited. Charlie's gone. They disinvited Tim. They disinvited. Well, I don't know if they disinvited or if Dave Smith wasn't there, but this is exposing a real problem.
Yeah,
on the right.
But I just, with him being like Ben Shapiro, I think is someone that I would agree with what Ben Shapiro did. He kind of follows my timeline in a way with like what and maybe that's why I watched him before, because I wasn't a fan of Trump in 2016, and then once Trump won, then I came around to him. But then I still wanted Ron DeSantis to win. I was hoping he'd win the primaries. Then when he didn't, then me and Ben both then are like, okay, well then we support Trump. He's the guy on the ticket. It's Trump versus Biden. And then it was Trump versus Kamala. And then Trump the whole time is Ben the whole time is pro-Trump. So to call him a never Trumper, I think is absurd. It's like, just because I too would have preferred, Ron DeSantis, it doesn't mean I'm a never Trumper. It means I would prefer Ron DeSantis over Trump. And now that Trump was the one running, then I was supported Trump, right? I don't think there's anything like never Trumper about that.
So, and again, that like specifically Never Trumper, maybe that is a little bit more hyperbolic is the wrong word, but stronger than accurate. But first, let's acknowledge that Ben, like, I don't know if he started the whole thing, but like the day before, he went up and roasted these motherfuckers. So,
Yeah.
we're going to come back and match energy. But
That's
then
fair.
I think the other thing that Bannon is talking about is that in 2016, Ben was one of these was one of the Never Trumpers, meaning at this moment in time, I will never be for. I think I will never be for Trump. So like I was a Never Trumper, even though I voted for Trump in 24. So Never Trumper just means like anti-Trump, not necessarily even TDS, but anti-Trump. And so he was going with other people. When it became undeniable, then I noticed that Ben was on board with Trump and fighting the woke left and all of that stuff. But as soon as, I don't want to say necessarily as soon as he was out of office, but around when Bannon was talking about, Ben was very bad on COVID stuff. And you started to see a split in I think, well, I guess it's the split that we're experiencing now. The cracks were starting to form back then, and any opportunity to hop off the Trump train, as soon as there was an opportunity, Ben was like, "Let me distance myself from this guy."
I agree. It's probably comes down to like the Israel stuff. I'm sure it does. But yeah, there's a million reasons why Ben also loves Trump, even with the Israel stuff, right? He was obviously very happy with the Abraham Accords. That was a Trump thing. He was happy when Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem, right? Like there's been stuff like Bannon is acting like Trump is like not
but
like
you're
anti-Israel, that he's anti-Israel. And that's like, that's not the case. Now we're seeing more stuff, but
you're addressing all of these things in a very liberal coded way. That you're taking it to the extreme. Well, he said never Trump, so that means if he ever said something nice about Trump, then he's not a never Trump. Like, bro.
No, I acknowledge it's hyperbole, but I'm giving examples of positive reasons that do make sense why Ben Shapiro, even from a Jew-coded mindset, was like very pro-Trump, right? Like, it's not just like, oh, he said he can never have any positive stuff. It's Ben. I used to watch Ben Shapiro every fucking day. Like, he said a lot of good stuff about Trump, continuously. He would also call him out on stuff he found bad, but he would say a lot of good stuff. So it's not only it's such a incorrect hyperbole that it's like beyond. I'm not just criticizing the fact that it's never Trumper. I'm saying that Ben has been inordinately pro-Trump.
So do you disagree that Ben waited a long time before he was willing to support Trump?
Sorry, we're going to K2 comment derailing me.
We'll get there. It's the fucking question.
Sorry, can you ask it again?
Shout out to K2. Thank you so very, very much for the $5. And I'll just go. Oh, wait, no, I forget. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't need to put him off screen. Of course, every donation. Oh, you lazy motherfucker. Treat for Morty. K2 said, can I ask when Confluence is gonna get a car that is more that is a more important topic to
It's the worst thing I ever said on the internet. Okay.
We need cars. We need it all.
Car thing, it's a perpetually haunting thing. I should have never told anybody.
I don't know how anybody could live without a car. I could never live in the city. I need my car. Thank you, K2, so very, very much. Yeah, Tom McRae is saying Ben was very anti-Trump in 2015.
Yes, that's true. And then he was very pro-Trump from like 2016 to like 2024. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, the vast majority of his stances have been like pro-Trump. Like, everything past like 2017 onward has been like very much pro-Trump.
But again, we're talking within the context of that group. We're not comparing Ben to a woke liberal. We're comparing Ben to the rest of MAGA.
Right, but
or the rest of the right, we'll say.
If you look at like someone like Fuentes openly went against Trump in 2024, like openly was canvassing on behalf of like people not voting for Trump. Like, if anyone deserves the criticism, it would be someone like Fuentes, like not Ben Shapiro. Like, Ben Shapiro has been like, if anything, like way too like pro-Trump.
I don't even know Fuentes that well, but I know that he was riding hard for Trump until Trump didn't come through on the promises. So there's a legitimate reason to say, I wanted you to do this, and you campaigned on doing this, and then you didn't do this, so I no longer like you.
But he liked him before the election even happened, though. Like right. he was supporting of him during Biden, and at a certain point, then Trump pisses him off. So it's not like Trump is even in office at this point, so he can't fail him on any campaign promises, right? He turned on him. He turned on Trump before the election happened.
So real quick, Hub is asking, how do I get to feed the puppy? Any donation at all? Yes, if you want to go super chat, we have Venmo at TheIndianJesus. Cash App is $TheIndianJesus, and every donation, no matter the amount, gets Morty a treat. Fair enough. What else do we have here?
Adam's saying I should slap the maple syrup out of your mouth for saying you were woke.
I mean, so all right, we'll go to the Tucker stuff. So this is past where we were when you came in. So I'm pretty fresh on this. Hey, shout out to Real Black Betty. Welcome to the party. Do not let me forget to put this in the banner. All right, dive. Hey, before we do that, we got Hub with the $1.99. Thank you. So, get rid of that. Thank you so very, very much. A treat for Morty. Thank you so very, very much, guys. And check that stream goal. I don't want to show it to him, but we got this. If we hit that goal of 15 super chats or 15 donations or $75 in total. Thank you, both of you, very much appreciated. All right, let's dive back in here.
Aligned with America First. So anyways, Ben talks more about Tucker here, and then we're going to listen to Tucker's response as well.
Our duty to provide you evidence means we actually have to do much more than just ask questions. Just asking questions is something my 5-year-old does, and it's really cute when it comes from my 5-year-old. But when grown men and women spend their days just asking questions without, seeking answers, they are lying to you. In fact, they're doing something even worse. They are seeding distrust in the world around you, and they are enervating you in the process.
I don't know what it is. I cannot do math while all this is happening.
So, for example, if many speakers, including Tucker Carlson and others, get on stage here at TPUSA and claim, without proper evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein was running a Mossad rape ring being covered up by the Trump administration, they are not actually uncovering a conspiracy or effectuating a solution. They are claiming a special provenance to information they won't let you see, which builds their power and leaves you with none. They are also implicating in their speculation actual human beings, good human beings, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi. And
I mean, good people.
Look how loyal he's being. This is where Ben loses
to the establishment.
To Trump, to Patel, to all of these people that are openly lying. He's like, he's a forever Trumper. That's what he actually is. Like that. That's what makes me lose Ben and stuff when he talks about the Epstein stuff. And he thinks it's like that Kash Patel didn't lie and Dan Bongino didn't lie and none of these people lied. It's like Ben is just sucking Trump off like for real. That's the stuff that makes me really annoyed with Ben.
It is very interesting to see a different perspective because we are definitely not on the same page with this one.
Okay, what do you disagree on with that?
I just, in general, I don't think that I don't agree with how you're characterizing Ben in general. I don't agree with your justifications of why the other people are wrong. I mean, it's nothing that's like, how dare you? But it's just very interesting to see things a little bit differently.
But what about that? Just the point I made. Do you disagree with that point? Like, do we have, or is it just in general, like that specific point about me being annoyed with Ben for constantly defending, all of these people, all of these like Trump,
yes,
saying
because
Trump didn't
I
do
think,
anything.
Yes,
Right,
I
okay,
disagree because
similar.
I think that he is running cover for the Republican establishment, and so the fact that Trump is at the head right now is why for so long that we felt like, oh, Ben Shapiro is awesome, but now it's shifting away from that.
Okay, but you do agree that that does irritate you about Ben. We're irritated by the same thing on this point, right? We're irritated that he's running cover for an establishment that is pulling the wool over the American people's eyes with the Epstein stuff, right?
Yes. Agreed. Oh my goodness. Hub again with the 199 said puppy needs his whip talk. Ooh, that's a hefty one. That's a hefty one. Hey, there we go. Let's see where we're at. We did. Oh, and again. Oh my goodness. Hub coming through. The puppy is loving it. Oh, it's too small. There we go. Thank you so very, very much. Where does that leave us? Let's see. We just hit over $1,300 on the Morty Memorial Fund, guys. He's an old man, and when he passes, thanks to you guys, I will be able to memorialize him properly, and that I really appreciate that. So we are 10 out of 15 super chats and 40 out of 75. Guys, we're getting close. Thank you so very, very much. And look who we got. Equality and deference because vagina over on Rumble. Welcome. Said liked and shared again. Guys, you know how easy and free that stuff is. It helps out so much. Again, it doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling YouTube, Rumble, or X that you want more people to see the show, they will show it to more people. Thank you. Welcome to the party. Claudia said, good evening to both the Hobbit of Liberty and Hyperwhite. I'm going to assume I'm not hyper white. Oh my goodness. The generosity, you guys are amazing. Real Black Betty with another $5 said, what happened to Milo? Dude went off the rails. He seems to be trying to make a comeback. Oh, there you go. Yeah, now you're ready. Thank you. He does seem to be trying to make a comeback, but I think he's too, he and Nick would occupy a similar space, but I think Milo's just too old now. You can't be the edgy teen when you're 35. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness! Did we hit the goal? I think we might have hit the goal. Hold on, let's go with Drew for the $2. Free my homie Morty. He is
Adam
free
is telling me I
as a
should
bird.
really get a boa constrictor, which I think is right. Something to feed. Morty carries a lot of weight.
Yes, it does. And as K2 is coming through again, said, why are the Blue Jays stopping Confluence from getting a car?
They are. It's a Mossad project to keep me in my basement, streaming on behalf of Israel, right? They knew if I had a car, I'd go out and do stuff. And so they want me to be, defending Israel, which I will gladly do. So I just need a bit more shekels from them, okay? So get the Mossad agents in my chat, Mossad.
Yeah, head on over.
Doing yeoman's work for you guys.
Atomic Ray said, Ben's grift is fueled by the old political tactic of treating authority as criminals. And that is his cognitive dissonance of not treating Trump as a criminal. I'm going to read that again. I'm not sure I understood it. Okay. Ben's grift is fueled by the old political tactic of treating authority as criminals. And that is his cognitive dissonance of not treating Trump as a criminal.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not fully sure what you're saying here, but again! Oh my goodness! Big ball. Let's get a little fatty. A fatty. You're gonna get fat. You're gonna get fat. Guys, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so very, very much. Well, let's hop back in here. I've got some math to do to update this banner and see if I have push-ups to do. Don't forget, not only if we hit the goal, not only does Morty get his special treat, but I've got to do a push-up for every $2. Every $2 is another push-up I got to do. So I'm puny. I need your help. All right.
Human beings, good human beings, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, and yes, the President of the United States, even if they're too cowardly to say President Trump's name. And that means you won't trust those good people in the future. You haven't gotten smarter, you've just been manipulated. When forced to demonstrate their evidence, these same people will often refuse to provide it. They'll claim ignorance. They'll pretend they're outside the system, and they don't have access to actual information. You know, they're just asking questions. But many of these same people have direct pipelines to informational sources. So, for example, if Tucker wants answers to his questions about, say, Jeffrey Epstein, he could call the Vice President of the United States. He's quite close with him. But he won't, because that might undermine the empty speculation. None of this means there aren't actual real conspiracies in the world. Of course there are. But actual conspiracies require actual evidence. Yes, there was a Russiagate conspiracy, and we know the names of the people involved and what they did.
We had plenty of evidence for a lot of other conspiracies that you were very willing to just push aside. And this is what I was saying earlier, that yes, I don't like what Candace is doing. I don't like what Candace is doing at all. But to say that the notion of just asking questions can never be legitimate is cope. It's just, you just don't like what she's saying.
I think this, for the record, I think what Ben is saying here, I think is like Ben at his worst. Like, I think there was no reason to go after Tucker. His example is fucking stupid that he uses, that like Tucker could just call up the vice president, like as if he's gonna, as if there is a cover up, then I'm really sure JD Vance will be like, yeah, actually, Tucker, let me tell you, there actually is a lot of stuff in those. Like, what the fuck? What? Tucker is asking actually good questions, and I think Tucker is actually seeking answers. I don't think Tucker is actually like succeeds where Nick Fuentes fails in my mind. He actually will talk to people in a normal way, and actually is like a deep political thinker. And I don't agree with all of Tucker, but I think I find it to be in poor taste for Ben to be going after him. I don't know. I don't know what you think about that.
No, I think that within the context, I can see what is going on and adjust it for adjust what I'm looking at for is this relevant or not relevant? Is this appropriate? And then the context of, well, that Matt has happened, and so he feels that he has to bring it up that way. So yeah, I think I agree.
I got a dono. You said Morty gets treats for my donos too, right?
Yeah.
So we got K2 with the $5. Thank you, K2. It is, this is a good question. Look, like you bringing this up, K2. Why did FedEx get a new Fed contract and only hire the H-1B1 visas? Okay, yeah. So that would be one of the abuses that I was mentioning. So I agree. In fact, I've mentioned this before. I'll make this brief, but the best video I think I've almost ever seen on YouTube is Sam Hyde's message to Elon, which goes over all of the abuses of the H-1B system and all that stuff. And I actually, I agree with like a large percent of that video. And so, yes, I do acknowledge that the H-1B system is bad in a lot of ways. I just don't think it should be completely eradicated.
Fair enough. Guys, I've got some good news. Between Real Black Betty and equality and deference because of vagina. Guys, we have hit the stream goal. Oh my goodness. 15 super chats. So let's see, where does that leave us? So we have 15 out of 15. Then we had 57. Okay, 57 divided by 2. I could manage that. All right, let's throw that back in. Thank you so very, very much, guys. I don't know what else to say. Thank you. The party rages on.
Oh, I got another dono quickly, if you don't mind. From K2 again. saying unionized FedEx, he says, for $5. Thank you, K2. I don't know about that, but don't think they should be getting all this government subsidies that they do.
Agreed. Agreed. And I didn't read Equality's Rumble rant. I apologize. Equality said, just popping by to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a good night. Merry Christmas to you as well. Remember, guys, I will be live tomorrow, not Christmas Eve, 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's dive back in here.
Of course there are. But actual conspiracies require actual evidence. Yes, there was a Russiagate conspiracy, and we know the names of the people involved and what they did. We know Hillary Clinton and Fusion GPS and James Comey and Loretta Lynch and Adam Schiff. We know all of those people. Yes, there was a COVID-19 conspiracy. We know that Anthony Fauci worked to shut down alternative solutions.
Yeah, we know that because people like us, people like Tucker, people like Nick, people who are just asking questions, asked the questions and got the real answers. No?
Yeah, I agree.
Dilly dilly.
From people like Jay Bhattacharya. But when people posit a conspiracy and then provide you no evidence, they are doing you a fundamental disservice, and they are making you stupider in the process.
Okay, so I think...
So any immediate comments?
Not on that.
Shapiro does have a point here in a way, and I'll explain why. Because it can be very compelling when somebody's just asking questions and they're presenting one side of a theory. And this can be very convincing, but if we don't actually know how to think through these things, I do agree that it can be pretty damaging. And I know that this is not going to be the most popular opinion in the world. And I definitely don't see anything inherently wrong with asking questions. However, there is a way to actually properly think through these things. I completely understand why people are so skeptical of everything they're told by government and people in power. However, I do also think it's...
Or even just specifically with the Charlie Kirk stuff, the official story that... excuse me, that, you know, it wasn't Tyler Robinson, it was this, that, whatever. The idea of wanting to know those things and asking the questions is not inherently wrong. It's when you are framing things to imply something by the question, because then you're not just asking questions.
And I think I agree with how Ben presented that. I think he's falsely putting it on Tucker, but it definitely applies to some people. If you're asking questions, you have to be seeking answers. And I think a lot of these people will just be, you know, just asking the questions, and, you know, they're actually not actively, I would put Candace in that category. I think Candace is just asking questions. Same with like Milo. I think it's just kind of bad faith. I got another super chat from K2. K2 says, since opening the doors to China and driving the unions out, wages have gone down and have not been able to keep up. That is true. Thank you, K2, for the $5.
Thank you. And we got Big Soda. Welcome. Very good to see you. Confluence doesn't realize that the conservatives he likes are the conservatives that sold us out in the culture.
I don't even know what that means.
Yes, fucking dilly to that.
Matt Walsh has been doing absolute yeoman's work on like all of like the trans stuff, right? All the DEI. They've been like major players.
Yeah, trans stuff was like 5 years ago, bro.
I know, but and the DEI stuff is pretty recent, right? And that's why he moved on to a new movie, right? You said you saw it in theaters like myself.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. It's a good thing to raise attention to. I think both of them have done yeoman's work.
So
I don't think they've sold us out to the culture.
So because Ben employs somebody who did something beneficial to the culture, then his constant rhetoric cannot be damaging.
I'm not saying that. I'm just speaking in general terms about the Daily Wire, because Big Soda said the conservatives I like, so I'm assuming he means Michael Knowles, I like a lot of the Daily Wire crowd, so if he just means Ben, then at least I understand that. But I'm assuming he means multiple people, because he says all the conservatives you like.
Larry said Matt Walsh is secretly in active rebellion against the Daily Wire. Say more on that.
They're having a bit of a feud, so that is true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, diving back in.
Understand why people are so skeptical of everything they're told by government and people in power. However, I do also think it's important to temper your skepticism with formal logic. And formal logic does matter here, because the moment that you move from just asking questions to making claims, you're actually making an argument. And arguments are governed by logic, whether people realize it or not. And this is something that you will realize if you guys ever do any sort of debate, any sort of formal debate. If you're making a claim or if you have a theory of some sort, and you don't have proper justification for that, then you will get torn apart. But it also is important to say this. Real conspiracies definitely do exist. History proves that. But the reason we know some are real is because they were supported by evidence. And that's why we need a way to separate real conspiracies from the false ones. And formal logic is that filter. So every theory is an argument. It has a premise and it has a conclusion. And logic doesn't necessarily care about how convincing the story sounds. It simply asks whether or not the conclusion follows from the premise and whether those premises are actually justified. And this is where I think people do get confused sometimes. They confuse this could be happening with this must be happening, or they treat missing evidence as proof of a cover-up. If a claim...
So I think that Candace is maybe purposely, I don't know, kind of playing in that realm of, I don't know, but I know, I'm just asking questions. I don't know if she is acutely aware of the fact that she's trying to make a true crime podcast, or if she really is just lost in the sauce. But I think that she is a good example of somebody who always was just asking questions. And then we got to this, and you're asking questions a little bit differently than even when it came up to the Brigitte Macron stuff, the Harvey Weinstein stuff. This different energy here.
I got really black-pilled, pun intended, on Candace when I saw her that she was on Pierce recently, and I found out she's like selling a book that she has coming out, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, just seems to, because it feels like she's capitalizing on this, and then it's like, now she has a book. It's like, oh, who could have seen that coming?
Convenient.
Yeah. So I've lost all good faith I had for Candace in all this stuff, in my opinion.
Agreed. Great.
For example, explains away all counter evidence. It actually can't be tested, and the belief becomes immune to facts. And this doesn't make the theory strong, it makes it logically empty. And I mean, we've all been guilty of doing this. I have definitely made logically empty claims before, but I'm working on it. But the idea here is that formal logic won't tell you what to believe, it will tell you what has earned belief. And without this filter, there's no real reliable way to tell truth from speculation. So let's do an example of it now. We may as well use the Epstein was a Mossad agent claim. And the way we're going to do this is we're just going to walk through it in premise form. So premise one, intelligence agencies sometimes use compromat or blackmail material to influence powerful individuals. Premise two, Jeffrey Epstein had systematic access to powerful political, financial, and academic figures. Premise three, Epstein collected or facilitated compromising material involving some of those figures. Premise four, Epstein received unusually lenient treatment from the legal and political institutions for an extended period. Premise five, Epstein maintained associations with individuals who had connections to intelligence communities such as the Mossad. A few examples of this include his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, whose father was an Israeli asset, and the fact that former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak met with Epstein about 30 times between 2013 and 2017.
30 times is a lot. 30 times is a lot.
Premise six. Mossad is an intelligence agency that has historically used human intelligence and leverage operations. Conclusion. Therefore, Jeffrey Epstein was likely being used as an intelligence asset for the Mossad and potentially other intelligence agencies. Now, it's not quite as conclusive as...
Yeah, it doesn't, but like making that syllogism doesn't mean, okay, therefore the premises are right. But that's the difference between a valid argument and a sound argument. That is a valid argument. But in order for an argument to be sound, then your premises must be correct or true. Whereas
it's also an inductive argument too, right? Like he's not trying to build a deductive argument. He's trying to say that with this evidence points in that direction. Because even if all those premises are true, it doesn't follow the structure of a deductive argument at all, really.
Right.
Because even if usually with the difference that you were talking about with valid and sound would be that all of the premises were true, the conclusion is true. In this case, all those premises could be true, conclusion still could be false, right? Like if you go back to his premises, I think every single premise, I think
he didn't put it on the
Could
screen.
be true, right?
Well, let's hear it.
Human intelligence and leverage operations. Conclusion. Therefore, Jeffrey Epstein was likely being used as an intelligence asset for the Mossad. And
so,
right. So do you see what I'm saying? Like all those premises could be 100% true. Conclusion still could be totally false because it's an inductive argument.
Okay,
it's not deductive.
So does that make it invalid as well as not sound?
No, it means that those words don't really apply in inductive arguments in the same way.
Big Soda said, you notice a pattern, all the never Trumpers who converted like Ben, Rubin, Mark Levin, and others are now the people calling out the America First crowd. Yep. What do you make of that?
I'm not sure.
Interesting.
I'm not sure.
Interesting. So Liberty was saying that Matt Walsh is secretly an active rebellion against the Daily Wire. He's making statements that seem like they're directed at Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire type conservatives. And he says a lot of things. Others they simply would never. Yeah. So I mean, if that's what's going on, it makes a lot of sense to me because I think clearly, Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh are what at least for anyone under, I don't know, 70, that's what the Daily Wire is. It used to be, but like, you're a fan of the Daily Wire in general. Do you watch so we've been talking about the big three, but there's the other guy, Andrew Klavan. Do you watch him?
No, I just find him hopelessly boring, to be honest with you. So I'm not a Klavan fan. I just think he's boring. He's just dull. I think with Jeremy Boring, when he ever does speak, he's just not a good personality. Michael Knowles has a certain charm to him, right?
Definitely.
He's got a good vocabulary. He's like very well read, And then Matt Walsh, has that kind of like I'm a grumpy dad kind of energy, right? And which he leans into. And then Ben Shapiro talks fast, and that gets my dopamine spiking a little bit, But yeah, Klavan, no, could do without him.
So then raises the question: what about Jordan Peterson?
Well, I love me some Jordan Peterson.
All right,
I think he's gotten a little crazy. But I just found out he just got out. He was in like the ICU. I don't know if we talked about this. I just found this out. He's in ICU for like 4 months or something.
Yeah, I just recently. The last stream I did was covering the I got you, Drew. And anytime I want to say begs the question, I'm like, you know. But yeah, we covered when Charlie Kirk was on Peterson's show. Excuse me, from earlier this year, and it was very interesting. We were talking about how he'd been going through it. Glomtech said something about I didn't think he would be back, and I read it thinking like, we like Jordan Peterson, but it's like, okay, well, it means depending on we get it. So I thought he was saying I didn't think that Jordan Peterson was going to be back on the channel. He's like, I didn't think Peterson was going to be back to life.
Yeah, and I don't know even what his like mental faculties are. Michaela did a little release, and she said that he's like doesn't seem to be necessarily fully there. And so I'm hoping it's not like something lasting because, that'd be very sad.
Fingers crossed. I want to see something real quick here. Okay. Did I move that out of the way? Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to try. Okay, real quick. Because the problem is, you probably have the thing open. So you can see that on the vertical stream, the video is yes. Oh, hell yes. Oh my God. Update layout. Beautiful. Oh my God. This is so much better. Now I can go from here to here. We don't even need to take the video down. We just keep it up. And boom. And when I got something a little extra spicy, All right. Let's dive back in. So he was saying, this is when Jake was just giving his syllogism.
Potentially other intelligence agencies. Now, it's not quite as conclusive as the Russiagate scandal, for example.
The bottom line of this dossier, the bottom line allegation, the point of this is they colluded, they helped, they were in on it.
Where we have concrete evidence, but it is a pretty convincing theory. And you actually can justify the premises here, so I think that it's at least reasonable to say that
I don't think so. I don't think so. There's the last piece here with Tucker. If you have a clip or something, then send that to me. But I'll look for it while we check out this. Oh my god, this is so fucking convenient that I don't have to get rid of the video every time. Actually, we get it.
Conclusion may well follow. But anyways, enough of that absolute nerd rant. Let's see how Tucker responded.
I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. I hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want
That's Ben talking about him.
to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when like Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for like deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what? This is hilarious.
Dare you?
Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events, they always play like the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could.
I'm not finding the Alex Jones clip. So if you have a link or a title I could search, let me know.
I don't remember if it was just a vague reference, like without saying his name. I'm not sure. Do you not find Tucker inherently likable? Like even just watching, I've already seen this, but watching it, I'm just like, I've talked a lot about Big Soda about this, but I'm just, every time I hear Tucker talk, he like wins me over. Even if I don't agree with what he's saying, sometimes I'm just like, so damn likable. Seems like a good guy.
When the old adage of guy you want to go and sit and have a beer with.
Yeah.
That's him. I don't even, what does sardonic mean? I forget.
I think it's like, it means like darkly, I think, like sarcastically, this is a terrible definition, but yeah, like darkly sarcastic, kind of
bitter,
morose,
contemptuous, or scornful kind of humor or expression, often involving cynical mockery or wry, biting wit that reveals uncomfortable truths with a sneer rather than outright malice. There you go. I always get it confused. There you go. I always get it confused with sartorial.
I don't even know what that means. Sartorial.
How I Met Your Mother fans, let them know.
To help. I really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not.
Gay.
It's a noun. Don't steal my nouns. Deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole like Red Guard cultural revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean,
it's almost like all the shit we've been saying about the woke right is exactly the reality. The same mentality that made the woke left exists on the right. We've seen it tonight. You need to denounce me. Shut the fuck up.
Kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event. In fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer.
Oh, he knows how to laugh. Anyway, I hit that. It's hard to believe that it's hard to believe that is a real laugh.
and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point. I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist.
You know, it's rather interesting that, you know, I as always, I want to give credit where credit is due. It is interesting that, again, I don't know exactly when on the dais that Ben's speech was, but I know it was the first day, and I think Bannon was on that same day, and he was saying something earlier today or whatever. Point being, he went out there and fucking dropped the gauntlet, named names, and then all of those people were coming up on stage after him. So, I mean, balls. Where credit is due.
Yeah, and I think Tucker was on the same day. So Ben's was the second speech, I think, right after Erica, and then Tucker, I think, was the same day, a bit later. So yeah, it is balls, and a bad call out.
Yeah,
and stick to Candace, call her out. She deserves to be called out. Leave my boy Tucker alone.
So I got you. Hold on.
Detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want.
I mean, Nick certainly does that.
Did he imply that Tucker was a racist, or is Tucker just talking about him saying that stuff about Nick? Because if it's the latter, that's confusing, because Tucker himself has said that about Nick.
Right. He's addressing Ben, saying that Ben is calling out people like himself, Tucker, and Nick, and saying "shut up, racist."
But did Ben imply that? Like, I'm actually asking. I'm just asking questions. Did Ben imply that Tucker was racist, or did he imply that he's just asking questions in a bad faith way?
No, that doing such about Israel, about the Jews, or, well, I mean, I guess the Jews, but legitimately asking about Israel is the anti-Semitism. By working out, you are toxically masculine. How is this different than what is woke? It's just on the right instead of on the left.
Yeah, that's fair.
18. All right, so let's take a little side quest here. Get our dreamy tunes. Right, so Soda said, where is it? So we're gonna start those. 1854, Ben Shapiro calling out Alex Jones for no reason. All right, let's just see the context here.
Finally, because it is our job to make the lives of our audience better, right? That's really our job, is to give you more information to make your lives better. We have a duty to propose solutions. That's why we have to talk about our problems in order to find the solutions. That's what politics was supposed to be about, after all, finding solutions to our common problems. If we speak endlessly about the problems we face, without ever positing a solution other than wrecking the system or centralizing power in a cult-like figure, we are not finding solutions. We are merely making problems worse.
Was that we just is this the wrong one, Soto? We just hit the 1854, and I didn't hear anything about Alex Jones. Did I miss it?
Just asking questions, positing vague conspiracies, raving like Alex Jones about the
there we go.
that control your life. None of it makes your life better.
Yeah, catching strays for no reason.
And it's just firing at the hip.
Like, why, Ben? What are you doing? 1430. on the dot.
For that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian.
Yeah,
I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's a random call out, but I think Daryl Cooper, I think, is a bad historian. I would say that. I would. And I think he is.
I don't know how this, I don't understand how this is going so far over your head.
Which part?
Nobody is saying Daryl Cooper good or bad. Well,
I know. I feel like I explained myself pretty concisely. It's a random call out, but I agree with him.
The message is that because I feel this way, that person should be denounced. That is censorship. That is the exact same thing as the censorship that we saw on the woke.
It's not going over my head. I understand.
Why was it okay? So
okay,
fine. So if you understand, then why is it bad when it's the woke left, but it's okay for Ben to do it?
I'm not saying it's okay for Ben to do it. In fact, I started my point with saying it was a random call out and it has nothing to do with anything. I'm just saying that I also agree with what he's saying, but yes, it's a random call out. I can chew gum and walk, Jesus. Okay.
I don't. Do you chat? What do you think that? Am I missing the point, or is he missing the point?
I agree with your point. So I don't know how I'm missing it. I agree with your point. It sounds like you just don't like that I'm saying like two things at the same time.
I know, but I don't think I don't think it's relevant. Like what your personal feelings about Daryl Cooper are irrelevant to the point that's being made that Ben Shapiro is calling for somebody that he doesn't like their words to not have a platform. That's the problem. Regardless of what you think about Daryl Cooper, that's sure interesting, but that's a different conversation.
Well, not really, because if we want to go into the weeds on this, right? I think you do have a responsibility. Tucker brought Daryl Cooper on and said he was like the best historian he's like ever talked to. That is irresponsible. So two things can be true. It's bad for Ben to bring this up, and it's random.
Why is that irresponsible?
Because to call someone who's a bad historian the greatest historian ever, and then let them talk about a bunch of World War II revisionist history that no other historians agree with.
So you are the woke right. We figured it out.
No,
I don't agree. Therefore, they should not be able to speak.
I'm not saying that.
Wokey.
I'm not saying that. I will have to do what Adam said with the maple syrup thing. But no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you do have a duty. You can. I'm fine when people have whoever they have on, but what I don't like is like doing kind of puff pieces with like no pushback. If you're gonna have someone on, you should push back. You can talk to anyone, right? I truly believe that you can have. I would never criticize someone for having someone else on their show, but as an example, IJ, if you had like some deplorable figure on and you didn't push them at all, I would be like, you have a responsibility. You're bringing this person, you are giving them an audience, and you're just like glazing them the whole time. You're just doing a puff piece on them. I think that is deeply irresponsible. That's not me being woke. It's just you can talk to the people, but there has to be pushback.
So if I didn't,
that's a retard definition of woke, brother.
So you're saying that if I had this conversation that we're talking about, and I didn't film it, and so I just wanted to hear the person out, and I'm not here to debate. I just want to hear and understand what your position is. That is irresponsible.
If you didn't film it, no, it's not irresponsible.
Okay, so
if you film it and then you are giving them space to talk, I personally, that's something I wouldn't. If I had some like white supremacist on, for example, or a black Hebrew Israelite,
you're almost there, buddy.
I would want to challenge them. I think I would have a duty to challenge them.
So what do you think is better? We don't platform that person at all, and they become the next Alex Jones / Nick Fuentes of popping up because people wanted to keep them down? Or you have that interview, and then you and I talk, and I'm like, hey, I don't think you went hard enough. I think you should have did this, that, and that. That would be irresponsible of you.
I don't know. I don't know why this is like so controversial. I mean,
because
this is like
stupid and woke. It's a dumb thing. It's a dumb thing to think.
This is a sanity check. I know we all think Destiny is like liberal. Do we think Destiny is woke? I don't think Destiny is woke. I think he's like progressive and a libtard. I wouldn't say he's woke.
Yeah.
You do think he's woke? Oh
no,
you
I agree with you.
So Destiny has said exactly what I'm saying. By the way, he said he has talked to Fuentes And then when people call him out, he says, I talk to Fuentes, but I push him on what he says. I talk to Sneeko, I push him on what he says.
Okay.
And I think that is the distinction. So even Destiny says the exact same stuff. He'll talk to anyone, but he will push back on what they say. That's important if you have a big platform. It just is.
So what I am saying is that it is not inherent. It's not an inherent responsibility. If you want to do that, then you can do that.
You can. It's a free country. I'm saying
Hero,
it's irresponsible.
Tell me how I have conversations on my own fucking platform. What are we talking about?
I disagree. That's fine. We disagree. That's like totally fine. I know. It was a sanity check. I'm not comparing myself to Destiny, to be clear. The sanity check to see if that would be woke, because Destiny kind of does what I would do if I was having some like really bad actor on. I would have them on, but I would feel moral duty to push back. I wouldn't just let someone say,
good for you. You're such an amazing person. You're better than the rest of us. How is this not?
You're doing thought terminating cliches on me, and then you're coming at me saying that like I'm
because
being like
you're
woke
trying
here.
to.
Well, you're spewing thought terminating cliches.
You're saying I don't want the people. People should only be able to platform if they do it the way that I say it. You're saying a bunch of other words, but that's your point, and that is woke.
That is like.
So who decides
that's
that?
Such a
Who
loose
decides?
definition.
Okay, where's the line? Where's the line? Who decides?
I'll tell you what the line. The line is that you can do it if you want, and no one can stop you. That's the line, right? If you're trying to get, if Ben is trying to get Tucker's show taken off, I agree. That would be woke. But Ben just saying, and at the context of AmFest, you could say it's not the time or the place. But I think it's totally fine to have the perspective of, I've said the same stuff on my stream when I watch some of these things. I'm like, okay, there wasn't enough pushback here. You're gonna have someone on like Milo on. I'm glad that Tim pushed back. If Tim just sat there and let Milo say all the disgusting stuff you're saying about Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk, and nobody challenged him, I would think that Tim did a moral failure by not pushing back. If someone is in front of you and you know that you have 20,000 people watching live, and you're not giving any pushback, I think that is a moral failure. I just do. I'm not saying that Tim doesn't have the right to do it. I'm not saying take down Tim's show. I'm not saying Milo shouldn't be invited on Tim's show. I'm just saying you have a.
That's what Ben's saying.
Well, I don't think that's what he's saying, but
okay. Well, I mean,
because I had the same critique of Tucker over the Darryl Cooper stuff. That's why I mentioned my own thoughts that you thought were irrelevant, which is fine. But I think the deeper point is that there is a moral duty when you have somebody like that on. But you don't seem to think so. It sounds like you would be totally fine having like some deranged like psychopath on and just letting them do like a PR thing on your channel and like not at all pushing
would I
back.
choose to do that? No. Do I think that that if somebody would do that they deserve to be morally condemned? No.
So why wouldn't you do it?
Because of the things that you're appealing to, but that doesn't mean that because I wouldn't do it that it should not be done.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I disagree. That's fine.
So wait. I think that's the bedrock. So you agree? So you're wait, what?
If something would be immoral for me to do,
no, that's not what I said.
Then I think it's
beneficial, not morally good. I'm saying it's not beneficial to my aims to have an interview like that.
Oh,
but
I thought you said for the reasons I gave.
If somebody else, exactly.
But I'm appealing to morals.
But my point is that just because I wouldn't do something doesn't make it immoral. Just because there's something that I wouldn't do, I wouldn't
try to. You wouldn't do it for a moral reason, because that's what I'm saying. Those are all my arguments. Is I think it's a moral ought that you. So if I wouldn't do it for moral reasons, and therefore I will judge someone else because I don't think morality just applies to me. I think it applies to everyone. And again, I think where it gets woke is when the woke part. You're like it's such a ham-fisted fucking definition of woke. The woke part would be if you tried to cancel the person, if you try to say they can't even talk to that person.
There's levels to this shit, bro. There's levels to this shit. What I'm talking about is an orthodoxy to a mentality that doesn't actually align with the things that you're saying. You don't actually want people to be deplatformed, yet you're calling for someone to be deplatformed.
I'm not. I'm calling. When did I ever say that in this whole conversation? Never called for that.
You did it.
The opposite.
Ben is, and you're like, yeah, I totally agree. My bad. My bad.
It's a long speech. I'm going over point by point on the elements I agree with him on the elements and I don't. And it sounds like you just want me to sit here and just be like, oh, Ben bad, Ben bad, Ben bad. And no, I'm analyzing what he's saying. And there's some points that he has.
I agree with Ben there. And then when I try to drill in,
and you're not listening to me. I've said multiple times on the stuff that Ben has said that I don't like that he's saying this multiple times. Like, roll back the fucking tape, brother.
Oh my God. This is what I mean about the fuck. Like, I'm not saying that you did not say any negative words at all. It seems to me like you are running cover for him, and I don't get it. That's it. So while you're frozen, let's shout out our boy, the fuck Master General, with the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. So very. Oh, you lazy fuck. You lazy fuck. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Do we got him? Is he back? He's back.
Was I frozen?
Yeah, you froze for a sec, but you good.
You stun locked me.
Yeah, there you go. So Fenrir says, so what is he calling for then? What is Ben appealing to? What is it? Let's back up right here with the Daryl Cooper thing that you said you agree with. So maybe I'm misunderstanding which part you are saying that you agreed with. So let's back this up.
And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian. Hosts are indeed responsible for the guests they choose and the questions they ask those guests.
Okay, so what is it that Ben wants to that you think Ben is saying he wants to happen based on what he's talking about?
I think there's a lot of things. I mean, if you want to just read full deplatforming into that, that's fine. I think there's other interpretations. I think when I say this, and so if I said the same thing that Ben said on that stage, I would be meaning do better. These people need to do better. We are responsible for the type of content we produce, and we're responsible for if we have a controversial guest on, we are responsible for some level of pushback. So I would be just appealing to Tucker and appealing to his audience to ask for Tucker to do better. I wouldn't be, now maybe Ben does have a secret motive of wanting to get Tucker deplatformed. That's like totally possible, and I would disagree with that. But I think there is like a better faith way to understand what Ben's saying here.
Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. We can agree and disagree, but I think that doesn't align with the wires are getting crossed. The message isn't consistent. But maybe I'm just wrong. So why don't we watch a little more? Did we finish the Tucker thing? Let's go back to Tucker and we'll see if pull this down in case we want to do that. So let's see the other side of it, and if you agree with Tucker a lot, then that might drive us towards where we can find agreement. Anything else in the chat? Larry said, I like when podcasters are trying to condone each other and make arguments instead. Am I autistic? I feel like that used to be all we wanted. Yeah. Oh, condemn each other. Yep. Just say your thing. Say the thing. If you don't like it, then you don't have to listen to it. If you think it's wrong, then you can say your own thing and say Ben Shapiro was wrong because of XYZ. Or Tucker Carlson is wrong because of XYZ. All right. I'm back in here.
This is the number one reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be. But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive. Well, I wonder why you're asking that question. I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul. And everyone listening should know that listening to you implicates them. And that they someday may be asked to denounce you. And that friendship is not a reason to defend someone. Love is no defense.
Shout out to our new sponsor of the stream, Funk Master General. Always coming through hot. Thank you, sir.
I kind of thought we'd reach the end of that. And as far as I'm concerned, we have. And I'm not going to play by those rules. I'm not going to engage in that. If someone doesn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view.
Okay.
So before we move on here, great point from Colby here. So imagine how many people said the same thing about Theo for having Trump on. Why is it? Theo's the nicest guy. Theo Vaughn. Gotcha. Theo Vaughn is the nicest guy ever. Is he bad for platforming Trump?
I mean, I would say no. You know, I think there is a difference if you're like a comedian having someone on, which Theo Vaughn is, right? So it's like I don't hold a comedian who just like is wanting to talk and have a good time to the same standards that I hold like Tucker, who's like a journalist too. You know what I mean? Like, and I like Tucker. I just think that there's certain interviews that I watch where Tucker could be doing a better job. And Theo, I wouldn't hold him to that. It's like, it's Theo Vaughn. I mean, first of all, I don't think Theo has the, maybe ability to. It's not his wheelhouse, which is fine. He's a comedian, right? And so, I'm not saying just by bringing somebody on it's a bad thing to do. I would never say that. But it doesn't matter on who you are, why you're bringing them on, and what they're saying, and what levels of pushback you're giving to that. I really think it does.
Fair enough. I can agree with that, sir.
Obviously, I really like Tucker, love his show, enjoy what he's been doing there. And I think that the well poisoning...
Oh, you're not going to go. Oh, come on, man. Don't go anti-Tucker right now. And
the calling for people to be silenced and for gatekeeping and these sorts of things from Shapiro...
I apologize. Shout out to Atomic Ray over on Rumble. Said, I believe Ben should have come out with a much softer speech. Everything else that follows is seen differently. Ben started it, not Christ-like. Agreed.
Liberty Plus is triggering me in your chat, by the way. I just want to read this. What does he mean? I don't hold him to the same standard. You have no power over what other people say or who they talk to. Laugh my fucking ass off. Yeah, I'm giving my moral take on it. I'm not, obviously I have no control and I can't stop any of it. And I wouldn't want to stop any of it, but I'm giving my opinion on the morals. That's what it is.
And so I mean, I don't want to speak for you guys out there, but all I'm saying is that your standard doesn't seem to be consistent. It seems to. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about what your, all of your opinions. But everything that I've been talking about. How
is my standard not consistent? Like you said, my standard isn't consistent. What isn't consistent
because
about the standard? Like I'm assuming you're referencing what the chat that we just read, right? How is it not consistent? Is it you think it's inconsistent that I would hold Theo Vaughn to a different standard than I hold an actual journalist?
No, I'm asking why. I'm asking why is that? Because again, we were talking about platforming and pushback and all that stuff. So I don't understand why Theo gets the pass if he has the president of the United States. He, according to what you said, he should have the moral responsibility to push back. But because it's Theo, I like him. So that's what I'm saying.
Was that my I'm sorry. Was that
okay? Clearly, I was being facetious.
I know, but sometimes I feel like you're
talking like this. I'm not being
giving
serious.
me such bad faith takes that it's like that I can't tell what's real or not. Because my argument was simple. It's that Theo Vaughn is a comedian, and also Donald Trump is not the same as some of these ultra like someone like an Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has done a lot of bad stuff, right? He's done a lot of bad stuff. So that's not the same as Trump. Right, Trump is a controversial figure. Andrew Tate is has done what I think we'd all agree is a lot of heinous stuff. And I'm not even anti Andrew Tate. I think he's a pretty funny guy, but it's he's done heinous stuff. To compare it to Trump, I think is silly. And yes, comedian versus journalist, I hold those two people to different standards. That's not being incongruent. I think that makes total sense.
I understanding what you're saying, but I think making that caveat is self-serving. You're making that caveat because it seems, I'm obviously not in your head, but it seems like that's what you want to think, that this is okay and that's not okay, and you're justifying it after the fact. That's what it seems like to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I would be consistent. I saw Andrew Tate, for example. He did an episode where he talked to like a counselor, and it was like and they had like a therapy session. I don't expect that guy to like ask about Andrew Tate's like alleged smex trafficking or like his Hustler University stuff. I don't expect that. The context is a therapy session that's happening. The context of a comedian podcast is to make jokes and have fun, right? But when Tucker, who's a journalist, is having someone on, the context is different. I don't know why it seems so hard for you to understand that a different context is going to imply different kind of moral rules. Like, to me, that just seems like on its face true.
Because if you're the justification is like, we're in a landscape where, like, again, where do you draw that line? Dave Smith is a comedian. So if he had Trump on, would it be okay for him to, just yuck it up and not push back?
If they're just yucking it up, but like the difference with Theo Vaughn
too
is like,
it's framed as a serious podcast, as Theo's was. And it's Dave Smith, who is a comic. He's not a journalist, but he knows a lot.
I mean, Theo Vaughn isn't like debating people or like, or talking politics at all.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the standard.
So it doesn't matter if you actually are. It's more about because Joe Rogan is a comedian, but he's also in this position now where he's like talking to people about serious stuff. He doesn't. Theo Vaughn is very different from watching Joe Rogan. So the standard, the standard is obviously going to shift based on the context of the conversation and who you are and all that stuff.
Fair. We can move on from Theo. I'm concerned about why, if you think that standard is the same, the standard for Dave Smith is the same as Tucker or the same as Theo.
Dave Smith, I would say, would be on in between, right? It's a sliding scale. It's like, because obviously Dave Smith does way more political stuff than someone like Theo, and it depends on the context of the conversation. If him and Trump just hung out and talked, then it's like, okay, just like if someone hangs out with Andrew Tate and they're not, but if you're letting someone say all their stuff, if you have Fuentes on and Fuentes is giving all these like,
you started this whole thing saying that would be immoral for me to do that.
It'd be immoral to not push back. You even acknowledge this. The whole thing is
okay. When I say yucking it up, I mean not pushing back, having a beer kind of conversation. So if Dave Smith has Donald Trump on his podcast and they're just talking about MMA and sports and whatever,
that's fine. There was no. I thought that was inherent in when we talked about pushback.
Fair.
I'm sorry. I thought pushback means someone said something insane.
Hold on. So fair. I'm understanding that Tucker has this responsibility, but Dave and Theo do not. So I'm trying. By what metric are you making that determination? How much percent of comedy versus seriousness versus journalism degree versus been published versus been on CNN? This is what I mean, where there's no standard.
It's such an autistic question, though. It's like there's obviously not going to be a hard and fast.
Exactly, Fenriz. It all sounds completely arbitrary based on what you personally think.
This is like a continuum fallacy. It's like just because it's like, it's not going to be like, I can't give a precise, how many points does Andrew Tate have to say before you push back? What if Fuentes just says one thing? Obviously, this is like a sliding scale of responsibility. Okay, obviously, so right?
Fine, but then you again, you have to have the standard of even in this context, why it is not arbitrary, or it's totally fine. If you'd be like, yeah, I don't know what the standard is. I just when it comes to Theo, I'll give him a pass. When it comes to Dave, I give him a pass. But Tucker, not. You're allowed to have those opinions. I'm not saying you're not allowed to have your opinion.
I know, but you're saying because I'm not dichotomizing it, therefore it's arbitrary.
That's not at all what I'm saying.
That's not how that works. So you're asking what percent? You asked what percent before, so
because I'm just throwing things out there because you're not giving me anything to go by. What is the
I'm giving you so many ways to look at this. I'm giving you so many continuums to look at this between entertainer and journalist. Okay, that's one continuum. The other continuum is what the context of the conversation is. A third continuum is how much shit the person is saying that you feel that you should have a moral obligation to push back on. So if it's Nick Fuentes and you guys are just talking about something totally unrelated, that's one thing. If he starts talking about why are there doors on the G chambers, then you can't just let that slide. In my opinion, you should probably have some pushback for that.
I agree.
So I'm giving you three metrics by which to judge it, and I can't say if it's 20. If you're 20% a comedian, then that's the line where you have. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that.
So then, how do you make that determination I agree with you. It doesn't work like that, which is why anybody should be able to talk to anybody they want. That is what that's how you remove the arbitrary.
You are allowed, but you should be able to offer moral pushback. You ask how we work. This is how everything works. How did you look at the Trump tweet, the Rob Reiner thing, and you concluded, by what precise metric did you conclude that it was like probably a bad? It's not. You can't specify
my own
the exact
personal
words, but it's
again,
not
that's my personal.
I know, but it's not arbitrary, right? You didn't arbitrarily just decide that it's a bad tweet. You applied certain values.
I have the principle that making fun,
judgments.
that pissing on people's graves right as they die is not a good thing.
Okay, and so what's agreed? How many drops of piss before it is bad? You know, and what do you have to say before it counts as a drop of piss? What if you just kind of say something very vague, right? You understand?
Bro,
you
are reaching. You are reaching. I'm going to save you, brother.
Same questions back to you that you asked to me. The exact same questions. We evaluate things in a moral way. It's not arbitrary. We use these metrics. There's no precise lines. That, again, is how almost no moral area in all of life works. We have these principles and we apply them, okay? And the application is always going to be a bit messy. Again, that's how all morality works, right?
Sure. Fair enough. Let's shout out Kitty for the gifted membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. And now Morty is in frame without me having to zap him. And we got Drew again for the $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Drew said the issue is not that there are different expectations in different contexts, is that nothing is enough. It's that nothing is enough in any context.
Like, yeah, like if you're, for some people, and I would say that would be the woke thing, right? If I was sitting here saying that there's no possible world that like Tucker should ever have, you know, someone like Daryl Cooper on, then that would be woke. That would be bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that so if we're talking that, to be clear, everything I'm saying is not about deplatforming. I think you should be allowed to have who you want on. I think it's perfectly fine. Just like Trump can tweet what he wants about Rob Reiner, I'm free to cast a moral judgment on that and say there's a bit of a moral failure in both the tweet and in what Tucker happened. That's all I'm saying. And I think people are responsible.
Explicitly, I said that's fine if that's your opinion. Just like with the tweet, even though that is a pretty I don't know, pretty stable standard. That okay, there's some subjectivity to it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to claim that there is a moral ought on how you should tweet or you should not tweet or what. That's a different realm.
You and me did. That's fine. I think what Trump did was morally wrong in tweeting that. There is a moral ought in what you tweet. I think very clearly.
I mean, it depends on what you tweet. I disagree with that. I disagree.
So you don't think
every single thing you tweet is a moral act?
I didn't say that. I
You
didn't
said
say that.
anything you tweet is a moral act. If you're saying specifically about this, then I misunderstood.
I did not say that.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Please, can you say it again?
I said that you're responsible for what you tweet, and that you can obviously have a moral failure in a tweet. And we both seem to acknowledge that. It goes. I'm against pissing on people's graves after they die. I think it's a bad thing to do. And so we both read that tweet. We thought it crossed the line, and we concluded it's at least. But now it sounds like you're saying you don't think it's immoral. I think Trump has the right to tweet it, but I think it was an immoral thing to tweet. But it sounds like you're saying it doesn't, even though it goes against your principles. So why? What's the the gap there?
Because the morality aspect is a much stronger good and evil, whereas my preferences are going to have a lot more subjectivity.
So when you say the Trump tweet is bad, you mean it in the same way that you don't like, a certain type of ice cream.
Yeah. I mean,
so
not exactly the same, but yeah.
I don't mean anything like what you mean then. If something goes against my principles, then I think that's a moral thing, right? It's going against the moral principle I have. It definitionally is immoral. And yeah, I totally agree. First, I've said this over and over. I will say it again. You can tweet what you want. I am free to cast moral judgment on that tweet. Okay.
There you go. I like that. She said, my preference does not mean I get to tell people what to do.
My preference does get me the right to tell people what to do. They're free to not listen to me, but it's a free country in both ways, right? It cuts both ways. I'm allowed to say I think something is morally wrong, and Trump is free to not give a shit. Totally fine.
We got a nice Christian boy here. Veterans said, where does this guy get his sense of morality? You can't legislate morality, especially when it has to do with speech. You're free to not like what people say, but you have no right to shut.
I don't know how this is not so easily separated.
So yeah, he's been very clear that he's not saying legally this should be shut down. Though what I am saying is that Ben Shapiro seems to be down with, well, if these people don't get interviews and not actively, they must be taken down. But like, hey guys, look at what's going on over there. That type of vibe. I know he didn't use those words specifically, but that type of notion of just asking questions. Well, why are they having these people on? Why are they doing that?
He's fair.
Doing the same exact thing. So
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. I said at the beginning, right? It's bad.
Yet you're agreeing.
Bad time to say it.
If you agree that they're both doing it, then how can it be the case that you agree with Ben saying it about someone else, but when I'm saying it about Ben, you disagree? Is it the same or is it not the same?
No, I said from the start. I think Ben is probably. It's not the time and place to be calling out random people, right? I said that straight up front. Again, I feel like I'm having to repeat myself a lot, which I'm not really sure why. I think I've been very clear on this. I think that, I can totally see how the best faith interpretation of what Ben is saying is that he just wants Tucker to do better and he wants Tucker's audience to hold him to a higher standard. And the more bad faith, which could equally be right, is that Ben is trying to kind of soft cancel these people. That he's saying basically he doesn't want to come out and say it, but he's basically giving the vibe that he wants them deplatformed. And that's a totally fair interpretation. That could be what Ben means. And it's possibly even likely that's what he means.
Agreed.
But we're both playing a bit of divination to try to figure out, what is he just like? Do we take his words literally, or is he punting to some deplatforming? We're both doing that, right? And
yeah, sure, but I think there's things that you can further justify than other things. I'm in the camp that I'm in, and you're in the camp that you're in.
Sure.
Fair enough. There's a couple minutes left on this one, so we will finish this up, and then
can I briefly respond to Fenris? Okay. Just briefly, just to ultimately clear this up. Nothing. Okay, I'm saying nothing should be done. It's just like with Trump. I'm not saying Trump should be banned off Twitter.
No.
I'm saying he should be impeached.
Confluence. I think the question is the he here is Ben. What is Ben proposing should be done if people do not provide what Ben considers to be sufficient?
I thought.
Correct me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Fenris. But that's how I read it. That Fenris is okay. So the he is Ben. So the question, what is Ben proposing should be done if people do not provide what Ben considers to be sufficient pushback?
Yeah, I don't know. He could be proposing, like I said, he could be soft pedaling deplatforming, in my opinion. He could just be saying this is an immoral thing, right? Just like what I'm saying right now, I think it's possible me and Ben share the same view where we want people to be more responsible. And, but ultimately, what am I going to do? I'm not going to do anything. Even if I could, I wouldn't. If I had ultimate control over all these podcasts, I wouldn't change anything, right? Because I believe in the First Amendment, and right of free association. I'm just saying that, so I think it's totally fine to make a moral condemnation and leave it at that. And if you don't follow it, that's totally fine. I do morals. I say moral statements all the time that people don't follow. I'm not saying there should be, I'm not saying there should be an escalation that now Bonnie Blue, I got to go find her and stop her. No,
you must condemn. You must condemn.
I will say Bonnie Blue's bad. I will say that, but it stops there. It stops there,
Fair enough. So Fenrir said no, it was you specifically. So correct me if I'm wrong, but as you just stated, nothing.
Yes,
not proposing anything, giving a personal opinion on what Ben is saying. And the disagreement between us two is whether Ben is in the we'll call it the same camp as Confluence, or if he is pushing a little bit further. I think he's pushing a little bit further. Confluence says he's not.
But I, to be clear, I am open to your side as well. I think that's a totally fair and possible interpretation. It just I'm not sure, but it's definitely possible.
Clone, welcome to the party. So I think it's beautiful how the Republican Party can place on stage people who disagree with each other without exiling them from the party like the Democratic Party does. Yeah, I mean, that's, definitely a silver lining here. We're showing that even though we might eat ourselves a little bit and, there's the gatekeeping and the purity testing, we're still not as bad as the left. All right, let's finish this up here.
Obviously, I really like Tucker, love his show, enjoy what he's been doing there. And I think that the well poisoning and the calling for people to be silenced and for gatekeeping and these sorts of things from Shapiro is completely out of line. And it is just going to be so off-putting to the regular people that are actually watching the speech. But it's not to say that he doesn't have some decent points, because I think that he did, even though that might be an unpopular position. But anyway, the main takeaway from this is that there is a serious civil war happening in the conservative movement, and it has really reached a fever pitch at AmFest. I'm going to be here covering it, obviously, so if you like the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Just got over 900K, guys. We're nearly at 1 million. Would appreciate it if you could help us on the road to 1 million. You want to watch another video? Right here.
Thank you, Jake. So, I think the coming to that determination of, well, is Ben doing this? And we don't obviously, we don't live in Ben's head, so we can't know for sure. There's a level of speculation, and we can't get around that.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's definitely possible. I mean, what other motive does he have for naming so many names? He's obviously trying to do something. And so, yeah, it's just, what is that something? Is that something trying to get people deplatformed? Is that something just to, hey, say, if you're listening to these people, you shouldn't listen to them? There's a lot of potential things that Ben wants in this situation. I'm not comfortable for sure saying he's calling for deplatforming people like Tucker Carlson, but I agree it's a possibility.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have to beat a dead horse, but if that's not what he's implying, then how does this benefit him? He called out all of the most popular people that had to the crowd of people that came to see those people. Like, if you're going to talk about Tucker, Candace, Steve Bannon, and Megyn Kelly, and you're going to throw Alex Jones in there, you're putting yourself on an island.
Hopefully not that island in question.
Good one.
But yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, Ben seems to be a bit spiraling. I agree. I think there is a legitimate kind of question about what lines, if any, do we put on what we see as the conservative movement? I think there's a legitimate question there, right? How far do we want to extend it? To Fuentes. Now, maybe we can't stop it. Maybe no one can, but should the right unite and embrace people like Fuentes, or worse, right? People that are openly, in a more open way than Fuentes is, white supremacist and actual, because there's some bad actors out there, right? And that are right wing. It's should we accept them with open arms? Now, of course, there's an argument that who's we and what is accepting them mean, and how else would we stop it, and all this stuff. But in an ideal world, right? If we do we want all those people under the same umbrella? And I think it's a good question. And I don't have an answer. I think it's a fair question to ask, especially when you think of the most fringe cases, right? Someone even way more, let's say, white supremacist than Nick is. That it's is that bad for the party to be embracing those people? Is there a level where it's okay, you were too
I think there needs to be a trust in the people, that when you are Ben Shapiro and you see, oh, this person is bad for the movement, bad for the country, then you have to trust that you yourself as Ben Shapiro are good enough at what you do to be able to combat that.
Yeah.
And that kind of plays into what Wiz is saying. He called them out so people know the sabotage in the movement. So I think you said you agreed, right? 100.
Yeah, he said he was pro Ben, yeah.
But that's not how this works. People are on teams and in tribes. And so he just created a dynamic of Ben Shapiro or Candace Tucker, Dave Smith, all of those people. And I don't know why that would be good.
I think it's healthy to at least get people to think about the issues that Ben was saying, though. I do think that is a benefit. It's a benefit, like the just asking question things. That's something I think a lot of people don't necessarily think about that they should, right? When they're watching these people, is like, is Candace just asking questions to ask questions? Like, so I agree. It's very personal. He's naming names. I mean, he's putting on his Jewish boxing gloves and everything, right? He's ready to go. But it's like, I think these are legitimate things that for audiences, it's helpful to be aware of. And I think maybe Ben just saw this as like, he's at AmFest. He's got a massive crowd. And so he's going to say his spiel, you know?
Yeah. I got to piss real quick. I'm full screen and you don't TOS me.
All right. So here's a tier list of my favorite slurs. Okay. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I will talk to the chat. There's some people in chat really making me ornery. I think Liberty Plus TV. I think you were one of those. But, you know, feel free to ask questions. Show us you B-word. Crowder made a good point to Pierce. The reason Crowder interviews Nick was so much better. Crowder's interview with Nick was so much better is because he got to know where they disagreed and condemn him. Now I know Nick's afraid of guns. Yes, I agree with that. I actually do agree with that. Pierce is an example of pushback in a bad way. There's a degree of pushback where you have someone like Fuentes on and you try to poison the well at the beginning, like he did with, by bringing up Nick's father at the beginning and saying and using some anecdote Nick had said and really trying to frame it as, oh, anything Nick says after this, guys, he was raised to be racist, right? I thought that's the bad type of pushback where Pierce is going in, guns blazing, it's not good faith. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
There has to be a balance, I think, in an optimal interview. You want to, and I think Crowder actually struck that balance pretty well. Did you watch that, Blatch? The Crowder Fuentes?
I didn't watch the Crowder Fuentes, but I did watch Crowder talking to Pierce about how Pierce handled with how Pierce handled Nick, and basically was just like, dude, that doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore. This, oh well, you're a racist. Like, yeah, okay. Next, do you have an argument? He just is really, you know.
My favorite point was, and it was my chat's favorite point too, was when Pierce asked Nick how many Jewish people were unalived in the H event, and then instead of just saying like, "Oh, I agree with the official numbers," Nick like overestimated it. He's like, "I don't know, probably like 8 million." Just like completely. He's like, it could even be 100 times more than that. Like it's like gone the opposite direction to not give Pierce anything. That was hilarious.
So I think maybe the best way to close down before I gotta do fucking push-ups. Oh, I don't want to do push-ups.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe Confluence will be a baller and do some push-ups with me. I don't know. We will see.
Confluence will not. I try after your stream. I can't do nearly as many. I got to like 15, and I was gassed.
Damn, son. Well,
I assume you weigh less than me. I'm hoping because I know weight is tied.
Yeah, I guess that's a big thing. I got nothing on me to push up. But I put up a poll. Should we, you and I, do a regular show called Come to Jesus? And
that's a crazy idea.
100%. Meaning 4 people said hell yes. And where is it? Behave said controversial but brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'll get to this in a second, Colby. But the I would be. I'm gonna put up a community tab post about this, but I feel like there's so many like shows of it's 2 guys talking about politics. I in the same way that just for my normal show, it's very different than how most people cover politics. I would love if we could figure out something, something different than just being, well, let's talk about politics. Not that I don't want to talk about politics, but I want to talk about politics in a way that's more than just talking about politics. So any advice that you guys have, let us know. And then, yeah, I mean, like, whether we're doing like once a month, every other week, whatever it is, we could definitely figure that out. Oh, this motherfucker just fucking flexing. 180. Jesus. Well, I guess it's time.
How much are you open with your weight, or is that not something you want to say?
No.
Okay.
It's less than you think. I promise you that.
How tall are you? Are you open with your height?
Yeah, I'm 5'4". Big dog.
Are you actually?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wait till I get up, and you'll be like, "Holy shit, it really is." All right, so I want that, but I want to just hide it. How do I do this? Do that. Yeah, okay, we can do that. Oh, this motherfucker added another one. I was almost done. All right, no more. Oh my goodness. Wait, that's too big of a piece. He's been getting a lot tonight. Thank you so very, very much. Said come to Jesus. I mean, it could be. Hey, we also got Dane in the building. Welcome. So the biggest problem is that the right, by and large, doesn't understand the complexity of the issues. I'm gonna disagree with that. The last thing I wanted to do was grab this from Colby, who said, "What was your problem with the Daryl Cooper Tucker interview? It was just him talking about the history of EP Man."
I don't think it was just that, but we'd have to go point by point to probably, I don't like that Tucker called him like the best historian of our modern day or whatever the fuck he called him and glazed him like that, which led to him then going on Rogan and then saying a bunch of stuff that was given less pushback. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, this is a good contender. Harold and Coomer. That's a good one. That's a good one. I love it. So now I gotta fucking add these to the motherfucking thing. Have you heard the song that Guamtech so graciously made with AI for the stream?
I have in fact heard it.
That is a total of 89. Oh my goodness! Do I have you on here already?
Oh, that's more than last time.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. All right. So are you sticking around, or you want me to give you the floor to get on out of here?
Yeah, I guess I'll go on. I got people that want to fight me on my panel, so probably about Daryl Cooper, which I'm not booked up enough to do that, but
go give it to them. Before you leave, though, in case they missed it, who are you? What do you do? And where can people find you, sir? The floor is yours.
So I'm Confluence 358 on YouTube. You should definitely check the channel out. Drop me a subby. Used to do YouTube videos. Now mainly do streaming. Literally every day at like 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. I do open panels. Any of you are welcome to join. Anyone's always welcome to join. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm right, etc. So every day, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, besides Christmas, and of course, so going to be taking a few days off, but then, catch me anytime on Confluence 358.
There you go. Brilliant. I was just going to do something. I don't remember. Okay, well, shout out to the Confluence crew. We are definitely going to work on whether it's Harold and Kumar or come to Jesus. We're gonna work on it. Thank you, Confluence, for coming through.
Thank you.
Always
you
a pleasure to engage with somebody who knows how to do the thing. You know what I mean?
Always a good time. God bless.
Thank you. Peace out. We'll do that for the Verdies. Dane with another $5 said the same exact thing, and the biggest problem is that the right, by and large, doesn't understand the complexity of the issue. And again, sir, I will say thank you very much, but I disagree. Thank you. All right. That is it. That is the total. Can I put this on repeat? I'll just start it over. Hold on. So where are we? I already cut it off. 89. All right. 44. We got 44. We could do that. All right. Here we go. 44. Listen to the lyrics. Vertical. Vertical. We gotta get you out of the way. 44 push-ups. Let's go. Let's go. You paid me. Now it's time to pay yourself. Stretch. Stretch. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, take a break at 30, take a break here. We got 14. 14, I'm picking out 14. Woo, woo, woo. 14, 14. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. All right, one more. One more. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be so mad if we top out of here. I'm gonna be so mad if I top out of here. Two, three, four, and 1. Oh, good job. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we do it for. Oh man, I didn't outside of outside of walking Morty like to the corner and back. I haven't moved in the past week. Well, no, I had a client. Yeah, I haven't moved in a week. I was just rotting in bed. Oh, so I did need that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What are you guys saying here? Why does it keep doing that? Fenris, thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Oh, because I forgot to add it to the stage. Stupid. Wow, wow. Fuck it button with the late fiver. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Said Dan. Dan? Or Dane? Dane is correct. The reason we cannot understand that men can get pregnant is that we don't understand the complexity of the issues. It's complicated. I sense a little bit of sarcasm there. But yeah, agreed. Yeah, I forgot the fucking music. Wah, 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 wah. Wait, super low or what? Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. You should be able to hear it now, right? Can you hear it? And is it coming through? open the border, only good people will come in. Thank you, Drew. Focusing, eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize. Thank you. Okay, so just pretend there's a huge dick on the floor. Bet you go all the way down then. Projection. Whatever. Behave, hitting on me. I've been saying, hit me up, girl. Men can't have babies is a great example of how uneducated. I need to screenshot this. That's hilarious. Please say more on that. That's wild. Let me say, just watch my girlfriend give birth. Trust me, we don't have the parts for it, bro. Maybe one day a woman will let you look at her parts. Got it now. Perfect. All right. Well, shit, guys. Thank you so very, very much. A big shout out to Equality and Deference. What the $5 we had. If you guys came the fuck through. Look at it. Just look at it. Oh my God. Feeding the puppy. We have Real Black Betty. More for Morty. K2 coming on in. Of course, we have our sponsor, the Funk Master General. But it goes on and on and on and on and on. Oh my goodness, guys. Thank you so very, very much. I cannot articulate to you how much you guys hanging out and being part of the conversation means to me. And that's before we even talk about any kind of money or anything. I mean, it's the holidays. I know you're all busy. You got shit to do. There's definitely something you could be doing. And yet you are here hanging out with me. So thank you so very, very much. Dane said, what did you get for Christmas? I got my 5K, which again is a big thank you to you guys. 5,000 of you people have said, yes, I would like to hear more of what that guy has to say. That is insane to me. I know it's not big in the broader context, but it means the world. And Kitty coming in late with the gifted membership. Remember, guys, if Doom Shop, if you got a gifted membership, make sure you join the Discord server because we are about to head over to the members only after party. So come on through, guys. Thank you so very, very much. Do me a favor and put your favorite. Which show name do you prefer? Coom to Jesus or How Then Coomer? Put that in the comments after the stream is done. Oh my goodness! Free money! I don't have to do push-ups for it, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. Oh, beautiful. Fucking button with the $5. I would never be sarcastic. I think leftists embody the pinnacle of virtue and logic. That I should strive for after my lobotomy. There you go. Oh, smart. I'm loving it. Come on through to the after party, bro. You are a member. And I just saw Drew now has. I'm gonna assume this is Drew. I'm gonna assume this is you that just joined the Discord. He now has the permissions to be able to see all of the whole thing. And again, the after party where we are headed right at this moment. Guys, thank you so very, very much. Big shout out to Confluence and big shout out to all of you guys. I love you guys so very, very much. It was nice to take some time off. but I definitely did miss you. And there we go. There you go. There you go. See you over there. All right, guys. That is it for the night. Once again, we have the co-host and overlord Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. The Indian Jesus, here to resurrect... Oh, shit, I'm not set up. Here to resurrect the second coming of Common Sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.